Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on this fine Thursday morning. Aztecs rolling off a huge win at Viejas Arena. Start of conference play going swimmingly so far, but not without a little worry. We'll get to that. 74-47 victory for the Tex. Also, the Pro Bowl is out. That's huge, right? Everybody follows the Pro Bowl now.
I am fired up.
The NFL, they're barnstorming across America. We won't know who the good players are until the Pro Bowl gets played. Goodness gracious. Our first opportunity to see all the stars out there together the week prior to the Super Bowl. God bless us, everyone.
Next week in it, they got tug of war this year. They got dodgeball. They got flag football. I don't know what team had the most players. I actually didn't see the list.
Didn't even see
we'll
it.
get to that as well.
Yeah, also, if we have time, we need to break down all the names on this Epstein list.
Yeah. We're gonna get to that. We're actually
Are they out there?
We're gonna spend about 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we're gonna go name by name.
Dude, okay. Last night, what's the Rob and Chris Broussard? What's the name of their show?
Oh gosh, darn it!
I know. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes. On Fox Sports Radio. Yeah.
Rob, the Epstein list is out, Rob. It is crazy, Rob.
Sweet.
Why do they shout everything?
It's first of all, it's Chris Broussard only speaks in shouting. He doesn't have an inside voice. That is his inside voice. And then Rob Parker is big like, I know, Chris, I know. When you look at these names, it's just the Big Bopper. Who would have thought he would be on the plane? No, he's not. Actually, I didn't even really spend much time looking at it. I was just making sure that Jimmy Kimmel's name wasn't on it.
And I didn't see it.
No,
I didn't see it there.
His name wasn't on there. That, of course, stemming from yesterday when we were discussing Aaron Rodgers' most recent visit on the Pat McAfee show, where he inferred, I guess, is the way you would describe it. He inferred that Jimmy Kimmel may have something to worry about when the list comes out. I don't think he ever plainly said, as it was written in headlines several places, that Jimmy Kimmel was on the list or anything like that. He didn't call Jimmy Kimmel a pedophile or anything like that, but that's how the media twists things. And Jimmy Kimmel himself has, at very least, threatened lawsuit against Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't stop bringing his name up. So I guess that war of words is going to come to an end here pretty soon.
Well, I guess. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers really believed that his name was on the list, or Jimmy Kimmel's name was on the list.
Right.
But that was supposed to be the joke, I guess. You know, he's throwing flames back at Jimmy Kimmel. It was stupid. And now Jimmy Kimmel's taking it too far, which is also stupid. I mean, come on.
It's all so dumb.
Yeah.
Don't both those guys work for Disney?
I guess
ESPN, I guess.
ABC, ESPN.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, he is paying Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Is being paid by Pat McAfee's show.
Right.
So he's taking Disney money. So is Jimmy Kimmel. So technically,
Pat McAfee doing his very best to backpedal out of this scenario, saying, "Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to. Wasn't trying to pour fuel on the fire. It isn't me.
I know Pat a little bit. We have mutual friends, and so everybody who I know who knows him says he's a great dude. Look, Pat is trying to do a very difficult thing. He's trying to be everybody's buddy.
Right.
He doesn't want to make an enemy of Jimmy Kimmel. He's not taking sides. I think he was trying to defend Aaron Rodgers to a certain extent, and took it about as far as he could. But Aaron Rodgers is his own man. Like, he is going to say what he says, and he has a enormous format to do it with Pat McAfee's show. And so, since it happened on his show, he felt obliged to address it. But I think, look, what this really comes down to is feelings get hurt sometimes. Even comedians who spend their career launching barbs at people for a living, for laughs, get sensitive sometimes. And I think that, I don't know, Jimmy Kimmel apparently has a soft spot, and Aaron Rodgers found it. He poked it, and that's what happens when famous people get poked too hard. They threaten lawsuit, and then all of a sudden problems start going away, because once you threaten litigation, everybody knows that lawyers are expensive and nobody wants to pay them.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's
and
where
there's
that storyline is.
probably a deep mutual hatred there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is also that.
But we will not go any further on this broadcast, continuing to bury the lead.
Rich TD.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
Oh, that was it?
I love Chris Broussard.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna throw something out there.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
Pro Bowl.
Joel Sherman is reporting via X that Woo-Suk Go is going to be a Padre on a 2-year, $4.5 million contract. Buy the jerseys. Buy
Yes.
the jerseys.
Yep.
It's go time.
Woo!
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 Yeah.
So Go is last name.
I don't really know.
Okay.
I hope so, because then we get to say it's go time.
Oh wow, that is true. Wow, that is the best slug line ever.
Don has endless possibilities. Say Woo-Suk Go does end up being the closer for this team, like John Heyman reported, which you don't pay closers $1 million a year or 1.5 a year. That just doesn't happen. But we'll see. Say he does become the closer, and instead of it's Trevor time, it's go time. It's pretty fun.
It's Go time is pretty good,
Dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm buying the card is full. I got one for me, an adult extra large male. I got one for wifey. I got 2 for the kids. You guys want in?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm buying them for the extended family. It is effing go time here in San Diego. Can you feel it?
I can. You
It's
know what?
electric.
Can you imagine? Like, I mean, they do like Monopoly night, and then you don't pass Go. You don't collect $200.
I mean, there's go directly to jail.
Yeah, exactly. Go.
Directly to jail. Holy smokes.
It's very exciting, and I wish him the best. I hope he's an excellent Padre. But here's the deal: if you're only paying him, what the total contract is like $4 million, right?
Suck up.
$4.5 million over 2 years. I mean, I'd sign it.
If that's all you're paying him,
Yeah.
that means nobody else in baseball wanted him,
Well,
or there wasn't a huge bidding war.
No, it's a for a reliever.
Glass half empty kind of guy over here.
It's a lower contract. It's a great name though, and he's got some filthy stuff. I'm trying to be a bright sider this year in terms of the Padres. I'm not going to get over my skis in terms of like what their prospects are this season, because they horribly disappointed us last year. But I love the name.
Yeah. Oh, same.
And I got my new guy that I'm rooting for.
He has to do well, though. He has to do well, because that would immediately change to "you suck, comma go."
Oh shoot!
You know what I mean? So it's you. If it falls apart early,
Ha Sung Kim, Woo Suck Go. Ha
it all
Sung
goes.
Kim,
God,
Woo Suck Go.
I'm pumped.
Ha Sung Kim, Woo Suck Go. Ha Sung Kim, Woo Suck Go. Ha Sung Kim, Woo Suck Go.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
in.
god! I had so much caffeine this morning. I'm so sorry to everybody who has to deal with me. That's mainly you two.
No. You're putting it together here. I like it a lot.
I had a late night and an early morning.
Yeah, what were you doing last night?
It's a hot start.
Cheating bastard.
Okay, look, Mike Harmon is a very giving lover.
No, I love Mike Harmon.
Oh, wow.
Right now, I'm just a little disappointed in you
Uh,
because we get done with the Aztecs broadcast. John Schaefer hosted an excellent post-game show. The first thing we hear is Rich Ornberger and Mike Harmon talking about Mike's 50th birthday and all the Modelo's Mike drank. And you're like, oh my God, Mike, that's so funny. And it's almost like you tapped him on the shoulder. And it was just so loving and so genuine. And I just,
Modelo.
it hurt my heart is what it did.
Well, it was very funny. The story that you're sharing with me. It was.
I laughed and I laughed.
He was sharing an anecdote about how he celebrated his birthday, and I thought it was funny. So
I just thought it was a perfect opportunity for Rich to say something along the lines of, oh, yeah, we do crazy stuff like that all the time in the mornings in San Diego. You should see it. We did the 999 challenge in our office. You can find it on our YouTube page.
to be perfectly
wow.
honest with you, that was hour 4 of that radio show. And yesterday was a no nap Wednesday for old Tricky Dicky Ornberger. I also had to take down the Christmas tree, bring a kid to an appointment, fight with a prescription insurance, and like what a day I had. And then I had to do that by hour 4. I was on Mars. I don't even remember the story you just told me about Mike Harmon. Did he actually say that on air?
Yeah, it was like his 50th birthday. He went to a Chargers game, I think, and
I was
his
paying-
brothers came into town and they drank a bunch of Modelo.
Zero attention.
Well, you were
I-
sure laughing a lot.
Well,
Well, that's what you do when you're not listening. Yeah.
it really is. In fact, I've deleted most of what you guys have said from my memory banks already. We do have
Wait, what?
we do have a pair of tickets this morning to give away to see the Brothers Osborne Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater May 29th show. Tickets and info at livenation.com. Keep listening for your chance to win those tickets today. Also, we have UNLV coming to Viejas Arena. So Aztecs absolutely smoke the Fresno State Bulldogs. This is going to be a completely different looking ball game. I can promise you that. Tip off at 1:00 Saturday at Viejas. Pre-game coverage starts at noon outside Viejas. Our very own Ben Fletcher will be on the scene. So go up, give him a rub on his ever shrinking belly. He's on the reduction phase of SD fat loss again. He's looking good. Check out tickets and info at aztecs.com or keep listening for your chance to win those tickets as well. So 2 pairs of tickets this morning. Pro Bowl voting, guys. Wow.
So which team had the most? You guys never answered me. I just didn't see this yesterday. I'm sorry. I was sleeping. I was Aztecing. I didn't see who got the most players into the Pro Bowl.
The San Francisco 40.
Oh, really?
49ers.
How many would that be?
Had
Nine.
9.
Nine?
Yeah.
Is that a lot? That feels like a lot.
Yeah.
It's more than anybody in the NFL.
Wow.
Yeah. Like we said, it was the most this year.
They
so
must be really good at football.
They're better than anybody.
Would
so
you
far.
think Brandon Ayuk, though? Would you think he would be a Pro Bowler?
They're not better than the
Is he
Ravens?
not?
Snubbed.
Brandon Ayuk is not a Pro Bowler.
Negative. Are you shooketh right now?
Ben's like, I should have stayed in bed. I should have stayed in bed.
There should be a 10th on that list.
Wait, how the hell not? Isn't he already over 1,000 yards?
Well, dude,
Well-
actually, if you look around the NFC, there are a couple
More
of
like intermediate bowler.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. He had 110 plus receptions, over 1,400 yards receiving. He
collusion by the NFL because he blocks with his helmet.
well, yeah, they were really pissed. But yeah, Brock Purdy on the list for the first time, second-year quarterback with the Niners. He makes his first Pro Bowl. How about Tua? First appearance on the Pro Bowl list. He earned it, deserved it in the MVP talks early and often throughout the season. So yeah, a couple of first-timers in terms of veteran quarterbacks. I mean, second year for Brock, but still very impressive. And then you look at Puka Nacua with the Rams. He makes the list.
Right.
Wide receiver who, when Cooper Kupp was injured earlier this season, really struck it big with Matthew Stafford. That continued throughout the year. Sam Laporta, the tight end, we're just talking about the Lions with Amon-Ra St. Brown, but Laporta was a huge part of that offense as a rookie tight end getting his first Pro Bowl bid. So there were some interesting little notes, but overall, like, do we care about the Pro Bowl voting? Do we care what the NFL or the voters think about who's the best?
I mean, it's a popularity contest, so I would think if Fletch, you're a huge 49ers fan, if you were down on the fact that people weren't giving Brock Purdy respect, I feel like there's a little vindication here because, that voting did come through, rightfully so, by the way. But do I really care? No. I mean, no, I don't. This is a placeholder now in between the final playoff game and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's just a placeholder. That's all it is. And they're trying to make something fun of it because the games were so dumb, which I do like. I think what they did last year is a little more fun watch. The goofier, the better here to me. I mean, do some things that I can do, play cornhole, where something I can do in the backyard and look at my skills versus their skills.
Dude,
the longest drive contest.
You just came up with a good idea because if you had average Joes taking on Pro Bowlers in competitions like cornhole,
Yeah, right.
like imagine you won like a fan voting situation where all of a sudden it was Travis Dale against, I don't know, Aaron Donald in cornhole.
He's done.
I kind of dig that idea.
I got money on Aaron Donald.
He's got an arm like a cannon. Some say the best arm ever seen out in San Francisco.
Dude, injure somebody with, by
Yeah.
the way, good
Wait,
call.
Aaron Donald?
Oh, not Aaron Donald. God,
That's Sam Darnold.
Well, sorry, it's same.
So-
I mixed up names and letters.
It happens.
It's fine.
Dyslexia. It affects 1 in every 5 people.
That's right.
Or 3.
So the Pro Bowl used to actually be a lot of fun. Used to be one of like my favorite things of the sporting year. And Rich, it may have even been before you were playing, but guys cared about it. And it had to do with the end of your career. The more Pro Bowls you could stack up, the better your resume would look to get into the Hall of Fame, blah, 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 blah. Nick Hardwick used to talk about this a lot, how meaningful it was getting into the Pro Bowl and playing in it in Hawaii when it was a big experience for the whole family to go out. It is not that anymore. So I think what the NFL did a year ago was very smart. Change everything up, make it a flag football game, try to get some viral moments. If you remember the skills competition last year, it was actually wildly fun.
I thought it was cool.
So if you can get those 30-second clips to go out there and make me watch Devontae Adams doing something that no other human being on the planet can do, I'm here for it. And that's what we're going to get again this year. And great.
I think they had to go in that direction. You needed a hard pivot because, look, the game was 2-hand touch already. And it's almost like self-deprecating. Like when a comedian goes on a stage and I don't know, insults himself or herself, it disarms the audience. So when you have somebody trying to pretend they're cool and trying to pretend that something is cool that isn't, everybody, it reeks of inauthenticity. Everybody can see through it. The broadcasters doing their best job to like pretend what they're watching is competitive. Do you remember some of those broadcasts where, you know, I mean, some of these touchdowns scored, they were literal. It would be like a running back walking to the end zone from 15 yards out, and you would have a broadcaster making the call like it was like, and he's to the 5. And then there would be a long wait because he was still walking.
4, 3.
I mean, it was so ridiculous. So I'm glad that it's almost self-deprecating. It's almost like, yeah, you know, you guys called it 2-hand touch on social media for about a decade. And so we'll just do 2-hand touch. Here's what I think. I think the Pro Bowl has been watered down. It doesn't matter as much as it used to. And I agree with Nick Hardwick. There was a time when people really cared about making that list. And there's still probably certain players who do really care about making a Pro Bowl, but less so for like the acknowledgement that you're great and more for contractual benefits and more for visibility. Like this is the same argument I'll have about the AP top 25 voting mattering for the Aztecs. Why I get so frustrated that they're not in it, because it gets attention to the program. So for a player like Puka Nacua, having a Pro Bowl your rookie year, it launches you in a very different, I mean, it's just another acknowledgement to your name. So when he joins, a broadcast after his career's over, he can say Pro Bowler Puka Nacua.
Or when he sits down to sign his next contract.
Right.
Pro
he
Bowler.
could say, I made the Pro Bowl my rookie season.
Puka Nacua.
Right.
It's like it gives you a little gravitas. It gives you an acknowledgement that you don't have. And so that's the reason why, like, yes, in the end, you want to win Super Bowls, you want team accomplishments, you want all that stuff. But like, it does matter. It does have its place too.
Another big name not on that list, Josh Allen.
Yeah. The 3 AFC quarterbacks were Patrick Mahomes, were Tua, and who am I leaving out of the
Lamar.
Oh, thank you, Lamar.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Yeah.
So yeah, no Josh Allen.
You could make an argument Josh Allen's had a better year than 2 of those guys.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
you're absolutely
you
right.
can make that argument.
I would,
again, popularity contest.
it's a popularity contest.
Well, we talked about the Aztecs win. By the way, props to you, San Diego. That crowd last night was incredible at Viejas Arena. Complete sellout for the first game of Mountain West play. Aztecs cruise to a 74-47 win over Fresno State. But guys, real concerns coming out of this one. If you haven't noticed, Miles Byrd, the true sophomore, was fantastic against Gonzaga. In fact, I would point to him as one of the main reasons they won that game against Gonzaga. And Reese Waters, who's been incredible ever since he transferred into this program, both leave with injuries. Reese Waters rolled his ankle in pregame during walkthrough then decided to give it a go for the actual game, re-aggravated it in the first half, missed the entire second half. We don't know his status. And then Miles Byrd, who again, stud sophomore, he played 9 minutes in the first half, didn't play in the second half because he got turf toe. Now, Rich, we'll ask you, how bad is turf toe? How bad can it be?
Oh, okay. I can linger an entire season. I had it twice throughout my career in college and the NFL. And buddy, it'll be a problem because you generate all of your power from driving through your leg from your toe. You don't think about it until you injure your toe, but it is the most important part of the whole posterior chain.
So we'll see if they have those guys on Saturday, but a tough matchup with UNLV, who I believe only has one loss on the year so far, maybe two now that conference play has gotten underway. But that's Saturday, 1 o'clock at Viejas Arena. We got a pair of tickets for that one. And then with Week 18 around the corner, all the stars are sitting down for pretty much every team with a locked-in postseason spot. Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy both sitting for the 1 seeds. Patrick Mahomes sitting, Matthew Stafford sitting, Joe Flacco sitting, leading us to some matchups that might be pretty interesting.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait.
If week 17, and it did deliver on like some of the most compelling matchups of the year, and a lot of teams still live and viable for the playoffs. Week 18 is the exact opposite.
Right.
There are certain teams who absolutely need wins, who are fighting for seeding or a share or a win in their division. But in the case of some of these teams, like, for example, the Chargers versus, wait, hang on a second. Blaine Gabbert's getting a start.
He's still in the league.
Blaine Gabbert's getting a start. Is that for, it's going to be for an AFC West team. So the Chargers are starting Easton Stick. I'm guessing the Chiefs. It's Chargers.
Chiefs.
Okay, wow.
So
Okay.
Chad Penny, for the first time in forever, isn't Patrick Mahomes' backup. It's Blaine Gabbert, who's been around forever.
Oh, yeah.
Were you teammates with him on the Patriots?
No, but he was in the league. I think it was with the Cardinals when it was with the Pats.
Okay, then it would have been just after you left New England, because he was behind Tom Brady for a long time, and then
No, that was in, you're thinking of Tampa Bay.
maybe.
He was in, yeah. He was in Tampa Bay with Brady. But still, look, some of these names, Sam Darnold versus Carson Wentz is going to be another.
What year is
Yeah,
this?
Carson
compelling
Wentz is on the
matchup. Yeah.
Rams, by the way, if you didn't know.
And by the way, Darnold's on the 49ers for a lot of people who don't know. So Niners Rams going to feature Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz. Okay. I 100% did not know this man was still playing in the NFL. I also had no idea he was playing for the Browns. The Browns are going to start their 5th quarterback of the season, Jeff Driscoll.
Sweet.
He'll take on Bengals Jake Browning.
Listen, this could be a week of some of the worst football we've ever seen, but also the best. I mean, you can see so many turnovers here in games.
It's true.
Well, I
It's
can't
true.
wait to talk to Jared Smith tomorrow, because Week 18 is historically a really good season for bettors, not on games, on props, because you have guys trying to hit incentives.
Ooh, yeah.
So there's a bunch of guys out there right now who need 6 more catches, or who need 100 more yards, or who need 1 more sack, that you can kind of place on the over or the more than, and you're able to cash out pretty heavily because everyone on the team will be working to get guys those incentives.
So check this out. The Raiders Denver game is going to feature Aiden O'Connell taking on Jarrett Stidham.
I like that.
Stidham for Stidham. But that's not the matchup that is the most compelling. The most compelling matchup, actually, really into the future, is going to be the coaches on the sideline for those two teams. Sean Payton, obviously, on a big contract with Denver. But who's going to be the next coach in Las Vegas? We'll get into that with Vinny Bonsignor, reporter with the Vegas Review Journal. He'll join us next. But before we run, I want to talk to everybody about testosterone this morning. That's right. If you hear a little energy in my voice, a little boost in the step, it's because I've handled a problem. It's actually a problem I didn't know I have or I had until recently. So I went over to the Man Zone, and this is over at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery. The Man Zone is a awesome branch of this plastic surgery clinic where they test your testosterone. If you're a guy and you're anywhere in your late 30s, early 40s, 50s, 60s, and you're starting to slow down a little bit, right? Not as motivated to get to the gym, wake up feeling sluggish, going through the day and you're fading by the afternoon, it may be time to get your testosterone checked. That's what I did. So the range is supposed to be from 300 to 1,000. Like, that's where you're supposed to land. I was in the low 3s. So I was worried. I was like, hey, is this something I should be concerned about? And it was something that I consulted with Dr. Roy David, who, by the way, is a board certified plastic surgeon, one of the best in San Diego, one of the best in Southern California. And he advised me, hey, buddy, it's time to maybe take this into your own hands. And so after meeting with him, discussing options, I started taking testosterone replacement therapy, and I'm feeling amazing now. So lost a whole bunch of weight, and now I'm getting back into the gym, and I'm starting to feel even better than I was before. Look, the weight loss is important, but that other aspect of it, strength training, exercise, having energy for your kids after doing all that stuff, it's an important part of your day. And as a man, testosterone is really what keeps the engine revved up and keeps it running all throughout your life. So if you're like me and you find yourself trying to do everything right and doing everything right, but you just still feel like that you need that little extra boost, it may be time to get your testosterone checked. And you should do it over at the Man Zone, Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery with Dr. Roy David. Themanzone.com is where you need to go. You could book your first appointment there, get all the information. That's themanzone.com.
Out in Las Vegas, who is going to be their head coach? Could be a big, big name. We're going to let you know with Vinny Bonsignor next.
This update is presented by Compassion International. Aztecs cruise to a win over Fresno State 74-47, but not without concern. Reese Waters rolled his ankle pregame, then re-aggravated it in the game. He missed the whole second half. An emerging star and true sophomore Miles Bird leaves the game with turf toe. Aztecs get a very tough UNLV team on Saturday at 1 o'clock at Viejas Arena. We got a pair of tickets to that game coming up on the show today. In the NFL, Week 18 around the corner. The Stars are sitting down for pretty much every team with a locked-in postseason spot. Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy both sitting for the number one seeds in either conference, as well as Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Joe Flacco. And in the NBA, Lakers lose to the Heat 110-96 last night in LA. That drops the Lakers under 500 on the season. But they got that banner. We've all felt the impact of rising food prices. For families in poverty, they're facing malnutrition and even death. You can feed a family for a month with your $50 donation to Compassion International. Just text the word radio to 97646.
Big Rich, CD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. And yes, we do have some giveaways here. We have a pair of tickets to see Brothers Osborne at the Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater on May 29th. Tickets and info at livenation.com, or just keep listening here for your chance to win those. We also have a pair of tickets to see SDSU, the Aztecs, take on UNLV Saturday, Viejas Arena. Tip-off at 1. Pre-game coverage starts at noon outside of Viejas Arena. You'll hear that here on San Diego Sports 760. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com, or just like those Brothers Osborne tickets, just keep listening for your chance to win. So there's some news floating around. There's some rumors floating around. There are some big names being thrown around of where some of these top name coaches are going to land. Now, just opened up an article this morning by a friend of the show here, Vinny Bonsignor, who Vinny said, yeah, there could be a big name coming out to Las Vegas. Vinny, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Oh, we're doing fantastic, man. So we're scouring the internet, doing a little show prep, and we run across your name, a story you drop. Who do you think is going to be coming out there in your town, Las Vegas, to coach the Raiders?
Wow, that's a great question, and we're definitely going to have to wait and see. But I think that, and I know that you're referring to the article I wrote about Jim Harbaugh and some of the dots that you can start connecting. Jim Harbaugh back to the NFL, and then B, the very real possibility that it could be the Raiders, who he has a history with. His wife, that he met his wife here in Las Vegas back in the day. But beyond all of that, he just went and hired Don Yee, of NFL Power Broker. He represents Sean Payton, among others. But one of his other clients, probably his most famous client, is a guy by the name of Tom Brady, who just happens to be in the process of buying a part of the Raiders, and is presumed to have, will have, a say in who this next head coach is, or at least some input on who this next head coach is. And oh, by the way, Jim Harbaugh, Tom Brady, two former Michigan Wolverine quarterbacks who have a relationship. So when you start, adding it all up, there's a very real possibility that Jim Harbaugh will be in play for the Raiders, and people around the league that I've talked to feel like that's a distinct possibility.
Vinny, I know what you wrote in your article makes a lot of sense, but I don't know if you're a fan of The Office, but Keep It Simple Stupid is something that comes up a lot in that show. And keeping it simple stupid might just be to stick with Antonio Pierce. You got guys like Devontae Adams going to the board for him. Does it make sense to just transition this so quickly to set your sights on a Jim Harbaugh or another high-profile coach when maybe you already have the guy in the building?
No doubt about it. But at the same time, when you have a chance to upgrade at certain positions, especially at head coach, with somebody that's a proven commodity, I forget exactly when Jim was the coach at San Diego University. By the way, it really irks me. I hear so many people talking about how he coached at San Diego State. It was San Diego University, not San Diego State, two totally different universities. That's a whole other issue for those of us from California. But you go back and look, Jim Harbaugh has been a coach continuously since the mid 2000s or so. San Diego University, then Stanford, the 49ers, now Michigan. He's never been fired. He's on a retread. He's won everywhere he goes. Usually at the very highest level. When he left Stanford, they were the Orange Bowl champions. Come on, it's Stanford and the Orange Bowl winning it. That rarely ever happens. Obviously you got the 49ers to a Super Bowl. He's doing his thing at Michigan, where he's been there for nearly 10 years. So when you have an opportunity to upgrade with somebody that's a proven commodity, it's something that you have to explore. That's not any kind of disrespect to Antonio Pierce. I think he would be a good decision. I do know that he's got support in the locker room, but Jim Harbaugh also wouldn't be a very hard sell for players in that locker room. And I know in talking to some players, that wouldn't be any kind of oh my gosh, we're bringing in Jim Harbaugh, why do we do that type of a situation? There would be a total understanding from that standpoint of why you bring in a Jim Harbaugh. It's obvious.
Vinny Bonson, you're joining this morning on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, reporter with the Vegas Review-Journal. Great article on all of what we're talking about this morning. Covers the Raiders out there in Vegas, also on Raider Nation Radio. So, Vinny, when I think about the Raiders and their standing in the AFC West, all of a sudden Patrick Mahomes looks very mortal. All of a sudden the Chargers, who on paper look like Super Bowl champions, they failed and they fired their head coach. All of a sudden Sean Payton doesn't have a quarterback because it looks like Russell Wilson's going elsewhere, even though they had a really nice resurgence midseason with that offense and that defense. If they get the head coaching decision right in Vegas, is it possible for the first time in a long time for the Raiders to take a AFC West title next season, even with the first year of a new head coach?
Yeah, well, part of it would depend on who the quarterback is, and that's definitely a problem that the Raiders have to solve. But I do think there's going to be some opportunities for them, whether it's what the Bears want to do with the Justin Fields, or where they are in the draft, maybe moving up, or maybe sitting tight, and there's one of the good young prospects that comes to them wherever it is that they're going to be drafting. So yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up because when you look at the Raiders roster, I know that there's uncertainty at quarterback, but they've done a pretty darn good job of building this roster. And this is one of the times where I feel like it's a good time to be aggressive, whether it's with your head coach or at quarterback trying to make something happen at that position. And for the first time in a long time, as you mentioned, there seems to be some vulnerability in Kansas City. There's uncertainty with the Chargers. Denver is going through their, situation, and now they're going to transition to a new quarterback again. So there's an opportunity there, without question, for the Raiders to continue to close the gap and maybe close the gap entirely, especially if they get the right head coach and the right quarterback here. And the other part about that is there's also speculation out there that Jim Harbaugh could be a fit with the Chargers. He's got a history playing quarterback with the Chargers in Southern California. You got Justin Herbert. That's an attractive job as well. If you're the Raiders, when you start thinking about not pursuing a Jim Harbaugh or not being interested in sitting down and talking to him, because I think everything that he's doing right now indicates that he wants back in the NFL, and there are some connections with the Raiders. If you're the Raiders and you said, no, we're going to stick with Antonio Pierce, and one day you wake up, next March, and you look at a Super Bowl winning coach in Kansas City, a Super Bowl winning coach in Denver, a guy in Jim Harbaugh who's been to a Super Bowl, been to a college national championship, is a proven winner, and you start realizing those are the coaches that you're going to have to deal with for X amount of years. That's kind of a daunting task. So if I'm the Raiders, I'm definitely interested in, if Jim Harbaugh is interested in me, not only to bring to upgrade here, at the head coach position with the Raiders, but also to potentially keep him away from one of our main competitors.
Vinny, do you think Jim Harbaugh is looking at the Chargers and thinks it's more of an attractive team to go to than the Raiders right now? And if so, what do the Raiders have to do for Jim Harbaugh to make it a better deal for him? I mean, how much do you think they're going to have to pay him, or what are they going to have to give him?
Talking to some NFL people, I think he's probably going to be shooting for 5 years, $100 million. I think that would be the neighborhood that he's talking about. Think of it this way: Don Yee, his new agent, represents Sean Payton. Sean Payton makes $18 million. So I can't imagine that he's going to sell Jim Harbaugh on moving from Michigan to another NFL team making less than $18 million. So look at that $18 to $20 million range, and that's what you're talking about. In terms of what's more attractive, no doubt about it, Justin Herbert is an ace up the Chargers sleeve. But at the same time, how many coaching staffs have they gone through and offensive coordinators have they gone through? And it just hasn't really translated to big time success. So, there's still a little bit of, I guess, uncertainty with Justin Herbert. And on top of that, I think the Raiders roster is pretty darn good. They're extremely healthy with their salary cap situation. I think that they've got a lot of money that's coming off the books that they're going to be able to spend. An owner that's willing to go to whatever lengths to make it happen. An owner that's going to allow and has always allowed his head coach and his decision makers to make their decisions and try to give them as much time to succeed. So for that reason, the Raiders are extremely attractive, and don't also kind of underestimate the history that Jim Harbaugh has with the Raiders. He and Al Davis truly vibed. Al loved him. Jim would sit in his office and talk for hours with Al Davis, learning at his hip. So there's a nostalgia factor as well. And they're the first NFL team that gave him a coaching gig. He was the quarterback coach here, during John Gruden when they had some really good years. So there's also a connection there. I know Mark Davis really likes him as well. So there's other reasons besides just Justin Herbert that make the Raiders as attractive, if not more attractive, to a Jim Harbaugh.
Vinny, awesome stuff as always. We love following you on Twitter. We love all the stuff that you put out there. Go check out his most recent articles at Vegas Review Journal, and he'll have those posted to Twitter as well. Hey, thanks, buddy. We'll do it again real soon.
All right, guys. Happy New Year.
Yeah, follow Vinny Bonsignor at Vinny Bonsignor on X. Nobody else had that name. He scooped it up.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. Can you imagine if Jim Harbaugh does go to the Raiders or the Chargers? Look at the AFC West coaching staff. I mean, it's you got Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and then Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
I mean, one of those four teams is going to have to step up.
Well, no question. And then you think about it, whether it is Vegas or the LA Chargers, well, then you're kind of left with like, well, who's going to coach the other team?
Yeah.
I mean, is it possible that Bill Belichick would be interested in coaching for a historic franchise like the Raiders? Especially if they find a way to get a quarterback who's halfway decent. I don't know if they're going to do that after Josh McDaniels, because he sort of turned it into Patriots West.
Aiden O'Connell.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, good point. Yeah.
I actually like him as a Raiders coach. I mean, he brought back the Raiders feel for me.
Yeah. It would be very cool to see Harbaugh in a Raiders visor on the sideline or a Chargers hat. But I think he stays in Michigan, at least for now, unless the scene gets too hot in college football. But we'll get to that.
5 years, 100 mil.
5 years, 100 mil. That would probably move him.
Yeah.
I mean, because right now he's looking at about 12.5 per year. He stays a Wolverine.
I mean, Gruden got 10 for 100. Does Harbaugh get 5 for 100?
Good Lord.
Well,
I mean, these owners have spent over $1 billion in the last 8 years on head coaching changes.
Wow.
Over $1 billion. It's crazy how much money.
Coaches who aren't coaching.
Who are no longer coaching. Yeah, thank you for correcting that.
By the way, you sent us a tweet yesterday with a breakdown of the fine for
David Tepper.
David Tepper, yeah. The $300,000 fine.
Yeah.
So he's worth just over $20 billion.
Correct.
So if you break down the math of how much that would be to the average person, the $300,000 fine, the average American, it's $1.77.
This is what I was saying yesterday. You are just encouraging him to throw more drinks at more people.
It's a $2 drink.
If it costs me only $1.75, I will kick in the studio doors at Rock 105.3 and I will throw a drink in Thor and Eddie's face right now.
Right.
Find me.
Right.
What are we looking at? $3.25? No problem.
No problem.
That's a gallon of gas. That's
not even a gallon. Wow.
Anyways, we got to get to the Lakers predictably unraveling after they raise their banner to the rafters, but unpredictably, Travis Dale starting 2024.
Come on,
looking svelte.
New year, new me. That's what I mean. That's the mantra, right? There's so many people with new year, new me because they got these resolutions. They want to make sure they happen. And of course, one of those resolutions is losing a few pounds. All right. Look, it's still on my list, even though I lost 31 pounds in 8 weeks. Collectively as a show here, we dropped over 120 pounds with SD Fat Loss. Why? Because it works. Now, in 8 weeks' time, 30 pounds, that seems pretty good to me. I'm not sure about you, but that's losing weight fast. The key to it, though, you don't want to gain it back, because that would be the yo-yo dieting that you would experience if you're doing some of these fad diets. You're doing some of these prescription medication diets. I don't know if you've seen the new stories coming out on these injection prescription medication diets, where as soon as the people stop taking them, they not only gain the weight back, they gained even more weight than before, and it came back really, really fast. So SDFatLoss.com, they have the secret for you to lose the weight fast and not gain the weight back. Go there right now, SDFatLoss.com. You are not going to have to exercise. You're not going to count points. You're not going to count calories. You're just going to lose weight the healthy way, and you're going to do it with the coaches and the staff over there. Wayne, Chloe, they will show you the correct way to do this. SDFatLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation today, and you'll be losing weight with us, because I think we're all going to drop a few pounds here in the new year. Coming up, the Lakers. What the hell is going on? Next.
It's good to spiral in football, not in basketball, and that's what's happening for the Lakers. We'll get to that in a sec. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We failed to mention it earlier, but thank you for listening, whichever way you're listening, right? But if you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, best way to support the show, share a link with a friend. So if you got a mind to it, it's a little square with an arrow on it. You click that button, you can send it off to a buddy. We sure would appreciate it. Coming up later in the show, we got 2 pairs of tickets to give away. SCSU is taking on UNLV this Saturday at Viejas Arena. We're going to give away a pair of tickets there. You can head to goaztecs.com for some tickets and information, or keep listening for your chance to win that pair, or Brothers Osborne tickets, Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. That show is coming up in May, but we got tickets for that. Nobody really wants tickets to see what the Lakers are doing right now because they dropped their 3rd straight last night to the Heat. This was close to being a tie ball game in the 4th quarter. Within 5 points. It was 74-69. That was the closest the score got. Heat really had control of the game the whole way. Lakers got within 5, and then separation occurred. LeBron, AD both had decent nights. AD had a really great night, but no bench help for the Lakers. Turned over the ball a ton. It was just, and they were ice cold from beyond the arc. So the Lakers lose a 3rd straight. The banner raising at Crypto.com Arena was 2 weeks ago, guys. I mean, and now they're talking about firing Darvin Ham.
Listen, this team is gassed, man. They gave it all for this tournament.
I actually do think that's the take here. That this is worse for the next prospect of the in-season tournament, because the team that tried, the one team that went for it, is the team who's struggling the most coming out of it. And that's another thing I heard, Rich, you and Mike Harmon talking about last night while you were cheating all over us.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that Laker fans are ready to get rid of Darvin Ham?
Yeah. I mean, I was talking to.
How could you get rid of a coach that won the freaking in-season tournament?
That's right. Do you have any idea how meaningful that is?
Right.
That's everything.
Look, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. All I was going to say is I was talking to a Laker honk, Justin Frostberg, who produces that show with Jason Smith and Mike Harmon on Fox Sports Radio.
Still stings.
Well, listen. I mean,
Do you guys share one mic? Is it?
It is it is a little bit like when Axl Rose steps back.
You guys are back to back,
and then me and
Heads
Slash.
turned.
He wears the hat, so it gets in my way. It's cool. But yeah, like it's a one mic show. No, Justin Frostberg, huge Laker fan, and he was saying, like, in my ear during commercial breaks, he's like, they got to get rid of Darvin Ham. I'm like, what? Why? What has Darvin Ham done except just gotten out of the way and let LeBron James do what LeBron James wants to do? If they fire Ham, it's a scapegoat.
Right. Look, the NBA season, we've complained about it, or at least I have a number of times. There's too many games. There's a lot of games that don't matter. These games probably don't really matter right now, because at the end of this thing, there's going to be half the league that goes to the playoffs, and the Lakers will probably be fine because they'll step on the gas pedal again. So at the moment, as we kind of pick on this and poke on this, guess what? In the grand scheme of things, it probably is going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much season left. 20 teams have a chance to win a championship every year in the NBA because of the play-in tournament. So I'm pretty sure the Lakers are going to be one of those 20.
Right.
I don't think they're in the bottom 10 of a 30-team league.
Right.
Even with a sub 500 record after raising the banner to the rafters.
Look, if
they're champions.
You got to risk it for the biscuit.
That's right. It's crazy that the Lakers are 17-18 on the year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Like, they're bad. They're bad basketball team.
But right now, they're bad. They're not good.
Are you sure they're bad? They just raised a banner.
That's a good point. Right next to T Swift, who does not play Crypto.com Arena anymore because she can sell out SoFi 6 times over 2 weekends.
Yes.
Yowza. Okay, coming up next, we got to get back to the Aztecs. They had a huge night at Viejas. How did they project, though, moving forward in conference play with a couple of injuries? We'll get to that. Also, the biggest story in college football that nobody's talking about. We will, coming up next, along with our morning monologues. However, first, I want to talk to you about my dentist, Dr. Jordan Colby over at Ocean View Dental. If you've listened to the show, you've heard me sing the praises of Dr. Jordan Colby. I would have never met him if it weren't for LaDonna Harvey over at 600 Kogo News, who is a proud client of Dr. Colby. And I'm so glad that she gave me the referral, the reference, because you trust your friends, right? It's word of mouth. and you go to the doctors or the dentists or the auto shops that your friends tell you to go to. And that's what I needed. I needed a major tune-up. I was missing teeth. I needed molars put back in. I needed implants. I mean, it was a disaster. I couldn't chew food on one side of my mouth for like a solid 2 years. And it's a little bit embarrassing, right? When you go to a restaurant and you want to order steaks like everybody else, and you're like, I'll skip it. I'll get the fish because I don't want to embarrass myself trying to, like move the steak around to the front of my mouth. It was gross. It sucked. It was terrible. And Dr. Jordan Colby fixed all of my issues. So I went in there. He had this whole plan drawn up. He explained my procedure, showed me digital pictures. All of the things are done in his office. He has all of the latest state-of-the-art technology in the office there in Oceanside. Met with him, was 100% confident in the plan that he designed for me. And he gave me my teeth back. He gave me kind of a second chance, which is great. OceanViewDental.net is where you can find him. If you need major dental work, he's absolutely where you should go. But also, if you're just due for your next teeth cleaning and you don't love your dentist, you'll love Dr. Jordan Colby and his comfortable office with his staff who feels like family now to me. His motto, no matter your situation, he can help you create a confident and a healthy smile. So check out OceanViewDental.net. That's OceanViewDental.net.
It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Progressive Insurance. Aztecs cruised to a win over Fresno State last night, 74-47, but not without concern. Reese Waters rolling his ankle pregame, then re-aggravating it in the game. He missed the whole second half. emerging star and true sophomore Miles Byrd, he left the game with turf toe. Aztecs get a very tough UNLV team on Saturday at 1 o'clock at Viejas Arena. We still got a pair of tickets to give away to that game coming up on the show today. In the NFL, Week 18, lots of people sitting. Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy both sitting, as well as Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Joe Flacco. Sticking with the NFL, Dolphins star wide receiver Tyreek Hill came home to his Miami mansion burning down yesterday in a scary situation. Hill and his family are all safe. And in the NBA, Lakers lose to the Heat 110-96 last night in Los Angeles, dropping the Lakers under 500 on the season. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits in one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on this fine Thursday morning here in San Diego. The weather is getting cooler out there. We are definitely in the midst of winter. We're doing it.
Yeah.
This is what it looks like.
It was frosty this morning at my house.
A little bit. It wasn't frosty on the hardwood. The Aztecs absolutely took care of business against Fresno State. The Bulldogs came to town and got ran off the court. We'll get to that also.
They stand on business.
They stand on business. I think they're up on game. I think we all can agree on that.
They let all the naysayers know.
Yeah, they certainly did.
I forgot about that one.
Lank.
Hashtag lank.
Hashtag lank. We'll have our morning monologue coming up here. If you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, we thank you for that. Share a link with a friend. Best way to support the show. But do you guys want to dive right into it? You want to hit the monologue right away, right off the top?
Yeah, we can.
Really get busy with this. Really let our sink our teeth in.
Yeah.
Throw ourselves at this.
I'm fired up.
I'm going to give my body up to the morning monologue today. It's really.
It's factual.
Thank you.
Also factual.
Man, I am pumped up for the monologue this morning because I have a lot to say, people.
Yeah?
Yeah. And we'll get to this a little bit later on, but college football has a crazy story coming out of the semifinal, especially the one between Michigan and Alabama. 9 players have entered the transfer portal. 9. Nick Saban is one of the all-time winningest coaches in college football history. Nick Saban will be in the College Football Hall of Fame. There's no question about that. He is a walking legend. And Nick Saban can't even keep his chickens in the coop. College football is changing in such a hurry that it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter how highly esteemed you are as a coach, you're going to lose a large portion of your roster as soon as your bowl game or your season ends. That's just the way it's going to be. So it doesn't matter if you're Sean Lewis, who had a lot of transfers come in, but also lost a lot of players from the last year. You know, obviously Brady Hoke switching, or I should say resigning or retiring and making way for Sean Lewis. Maybe that had an influence on it. That's true too. But it doesn't matter if you're Sean Lewis at San Diego State. It doesn't matter if you coach in the Group of 5 or the Power 5. It doesn't matter if you're Nick Saban, who's going to be a College Football Hall of Famer when he finally hangs up the whistle for good. You're going to lose a large portion of your roster, and it does not matter how far you get your team. I bet you after winning the national champion, the Huskies or the Michigan Wolverines, the very next headlines are going to be how many players are in the transfer portal.
Well, if you're going to get paid,
yeah,
go get paid.
Go get paid.
Yeah, and you want your name in the spotlight. You want your face on TV. You're going to go somewhere where you're going to get more of that. I mean, this is it seems a little like common sense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
All right, so that's my monologue this morning. I had to get that off my chest.
Well, okay. Well, mine's a little bit of detour from college football. Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up.
Okay, Starbucks is saying that customers can now bring any personal cup under 40 ounces
this is
to
huge.
Have a drink in it. Okay, are you in
huge.
on this?
I am totally 100% in on this.
32 ounces.
32 ounces
for a Stanley Cup.
I am way out on this.
Why?
I am way out.
TD, this may be your worst hit.
No.
Oh, he had the Beyonce take.
It may be worse than that, but let's hear him out.
Beyonce take spot on, by the way. Not not good.
Queen bee.
Not good.
Mm-mm.
Starbucks. I understand that you are trying to reduce waste. Okay. I also feel like you say you want to reduce waste just because you also want to save the dime or whatever it costs for that cup. So you just disguise it with saying you're reducing waste, but it's fine. I mean, it's a paper cup. I feel like you could break that down in a landfill somewhere. My problem with it is people are gross. People are gross. They're going to bring in gross cups. Now, Starbucks is saying it has to be a clean cup. How do they know it's clean? How do they know it wasn't some nasty mouth lips on the side of it when a barista grabs the thing and fills it up? Okay, I understand. Also, Starbucks says, no, we're going to make the drink and then we're going to pour it into the vessel. Okay? Not going to touch at all. But one, you're going to tell me every barista is going to do like the free pour. It's not going to touch whatever nasty cups brought in. Also, what if they order a caramel macchiato? You can't just pour that in. Now it's mixed. Caramel macchiato's got the shots of espresso floated right on top. Unless it's upside down, then those go in first.
I have to react. I mean, you've triggered me now. Are you the type of guy who is okay seeing like dogs in supermarkets or restaurants? See, if you're even wavering on that, an animal, something that carries fleas into a supermarket, something that carries, zoonotic diseases that could hop from host animal to human.
Speak for your own dog.
I'm going to say right now, I feel like the majority of dogs are less gross than the majority of humans.
Facts.
Okay.
Yeah. Facts.
So wait a second. You're cool with animals sharing eating spaces with human beings, but you're not cool with a clean human being bringing in a coffee cup too, because that's what they're asking for. That's a requirement. Hey, if you bring in
it's a clean human being. I'm more on side TV with this.
Oh, no. You guys are out of your minds.
I cannot.
You guys are out of your minds.
That it's a clean human being.
People are way grosser than dogs.
That is 100% not true. That is
I think it's scientifically
dogs
fact.
spend the majority of the day. I've owned dogs for my entire life. They spend the majority of the day licking their private parts. Now, human beings, if they could, they would too. But I mean, I literally saw a dog. This is a true story. Out in front of my house, I was like, "Hey, cute dog, what is it?" It's like it's a pug, or it's like a pug beagle mix. It was a peagle or a puggle. I don't know. Look, the point was, it was an adorable, wrinkly animal that took a hot dump on a slate stone and then whirled around. And before the owner could reach down and pick up this 20-pound beast, it started chowing down on its own defecation. But bring him to Arby's, but don't bring your cups to Starbucks.
Science from Harvard. Science. Dogs have more than 600 different types of bacteria in their mouths. That's nothing compared to the 615 types that humans have.
Wow, 615?
It's not a huge difference, but dogs are cleaner.
You're going to say 615,000. I was getting ready to cheer.
I mean, look, how can we trust a university who hired a president who plagiarized 1,000 times?
So you got to respect that.
Well, actually, you got to respect again. But she really wanted the gig.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If a dog walked into Starbucks carrying the coffee cup in his mouth, I would feel more comfortable with that being refilled.
By the way, I'm cool with both. Like, even though I think dogs are filthier than humans, I have no problem when you bring them to the supermarket. I have no problem when you bring them to the patio to eat next to you. I don't have a problem with anybody bringing their cups to Starbucks.
Yeah, but people have herpes. Dogs don't have herpes.
Oh, dude, dogs have venereal diseases too. And I don't even want to get into the reasons why.
Dog herpes. You see.
And by the way,
canine herpavirus.
And by the way, they call it doggies. Anyway, all right. Look, the point I'm trying to make is my chief concern about any of these fast food style fast coffee break restaurants allowing you to bring your own single serve coffee cup is because everybody calls them paper cups. They're not paper cups. If you poured hot coffee into a paper cup that you made with printer paper, it would melt and it would burn your hands ceaselessly.
I don't think it's a printer paper cup.
No, but it's,
I mean, cardboard is paper.
Cardboard would melt too underneath that.
Well, eventually.
What they do is they spray like a plastic lining inside these cups that's melting into your coffee, and it's poisoning you from the inside out. So if I can bring my Yeti cup, which, by the way, all three of us have now, because not only did I buy for your birthday, your Christmas presents, but I also bought them for myself for Christmas because I really deserved it. I was a good boy all year. We can go into Starbucks now with our 16-ounce tumblers and we can get it filled by the barista.
That is very true. That is very, very true. And I do like all of that, but I'm also the guy that if I'm in the drive-through lane and I see the car in front of me, they get handed a bag and then they hand the bag back to the person. I'm like, that better not be my bag.
Well, let me tell you right now.
That's touched some other human hands.
If the friggin' drive-through lady leaned out the window and got her face licked by a Peagle or a Puggle that just ate its own crap, I would be equally dismayed. Anyways, Ben, you have a monologue this morning?
I almost feel bad. It's not going to be nearly as fun, but I do think it's impactful. So Lamont Butler got benched in the Gonzaga game. We can be very clear about what happened. He was in foul trouble in the second half, but he had opportunity to come back in. Dutch stuck with the lineup that was doing the best in that game. Lamont Butler was benched in that Gonzaga game.
Yeah.
He comes out last night against Fresno State and had total control of the game. You could tell everything was flowing through Lamont. Lamont Butler hit a couple threes. I think he only had 11 points, but the box score doesn't matter with him. It was the control that he distributed the entire night of that game. He was the leader of the team. It doesn't matter that Jaden had 20 and Lamont had 11. What matters is the fact that everyone was looking to him the entire night. And I love it when you see guys who get shamed a little bit, and I think Dutch was doing it intentionally, of Lamont, you're not playing up to your standard. Who cares about our standard? You're not playing up to your standard. And then to see him come back the last night and play the way he played, I thought it was awesome to see. It was inspiring to see. Good for you, Lamont Butler. This team is way better when you are playing like that.
I completely agree with you. And I think coaching is part being a good leader, but it's also part being a good manipulator. You have to manipulate situations to benefit the team. And that's exactly what Coach Dutcher did. He saw a situation that was starting to emerge with Lamont Butler, maybe getting lost out there, not playing to, as you put it, and I think it was probably how it was expressed to Lamont Butler, to his standard. You know, you make some changes and it helps the team. We'll get back to that on the other side of halftime, but let's hit it.
In just a second.
Well,
hang on. Yeah, I mean, we'll hit it.
Travis's?
No, it's mine.
Be mine, whatever you want.
2024, new year, new us.
Yeah, we're dialed in.
I will never stop being this bad at my job. You're welcome.
All right, heading into week 18, we have some names at quarterback where you're going to be like, oh, wow, he's still playing? Yes, he is. Easton Stick, Blaine Gabbert, Sam Darnold, Carson Wentz. There's going to be a Jeff Driscoll sighting in Cleveland, Jake Browning. The backups are out en masse.
These are all names that if they were on like the candidates list for Nevada Senate, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Heineke is going to be starting this week. Who else has got? I mean, it's amazing. We're going to see all the backups get some run. It's just what it's been this season, and it will continue to be in week 18 as many of the teams are resting their starters. Most notably, we had Pro Bowl voting come out yesterday. Brock Purdy is on the list for the first time. The 49ers have 9 players on the list of Pro Bowl votees, or vote getters, I should say. Tua Tagovailoa gets his first Pro Bowl. Dallas and the Ravens have 7 players apiece who made the list. Rookies Sam Laporta, tight end for the Lions, and Rams rookie wide receiver Puka Nacua make the list. Notable snubs, Josh Allen, we were discussing this earlier. Brandon Ayuk didn't make the list for their Pro Bowl bids. And it's also official, Padres Korean reliever Woo Sako. Woo! He's in agreement, 2-year, $4.5 million contract. This is via Joel Sherman yesterday on X, baseball columnist. So we can buy the jerseys. I'm excited. I got a cart full of 4 of them right now.
It's go time.
And the Aztecs, they had a big win over Fresno State. And we're just talking about the situation with Lamont Butler. It kind of felt like how Butler got his groove back last night on the court at Viejas. But you have a little trouble, maybe some turbulent waters ahead with Reese Waters rolling his ankle.
So you're making a joke about a guy getting hurt?
Okay, like this is the first time we've done this.
Like a bridge over troubled water.
It does suck. Reese Waters has been incredible this year.
He's gonna be fine.
He's another one of those guys that kind of rolls out of bed and gives you 20. The way he's acclimated into the San Diego State system has been incredible to see, because you see a lot of times transfers coming in, especially transfers from like a Pac-12 school like Reese Waters did, have a tough time picking up San Diego State's defense. He's picked it up beautifully, but he rolls his ankle in pregame, and then in the game, he actually aggravated it, yelled out a very blatant curse word when he did so, and which was funny, but also sad. Yeah, exactly.
Dadgummit.
And then went to the locker room, came out in the second half, did a little warm up with the team, but obviously wasn't going to play in the second half.
Ow.
The Miles Bird one is more concerning
Dang
to
it.
me, because I do think if that was a close game, Reese Waters was going to play in the second half. But Miles Bird with turf toe, we know turf toe can last for a long time. And even if you're playing on it, you're not going to be playing comfortably on it. So from an NFL standpoint, turf toe is something that can ruin a season for you.
It could require surgery sometimes. Antonio Gates actually had turf toe repaired. I think it was more than once during the course of his playing career as tight end for the Chargers.
Devontae Adams had it a couple years ago, and it was just a problem. Every week he was questionable because you didn't know if he was going to be able to go or not.
I played with it twice. The way they handled it, and I think they handle it for skill position guys too, and they probably will for Bird when he returns to action, is they'll actually put a stiff metal plate underneath the padding in your shoe.
Is that comfortable?
It is not. And what it does is it limits the ability for your toe to flex, and they'll also like put some tape around it. And like it's just, look, it's when you're trying to be an agile, explosive athlete and you can't push off one of your legs because you generate so much power from your toe, it takes that whole leg away. It takes away some of your agility and your explosiveness. So it really does suck. And it's unfortunate that happened to Miles Bird, especially at this point in the season, because you're just really getting your season started. I mean, conference play just opened. You have a huge game against UNLV. The Rebels are coming to town at Viejas coming up this weekend. So we're looking forward to that because we have tickets to give away, a pair of tickets we're going to give away over to a listener who calls in and wins them either this hour or next. We also have a pair of tickets to Brothers Osborne. They're going to be playing Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater. That show's coming up in May, so keep listening for those. What do you got?
Breaking news.
Interesting. What's happening?
Well, we were talking about it earlier, and you and Mike Harmon were discussing it last night. But our boy Shams is out tweeting this morning. You know, Shams Charania, one of the NBA's foremost.
He's our boy.
I don't know how to do
He's our boy.
Shams Charania.
Shams Charania.
You nailed it.
Who is actually the first person to tweet from an insider role that Shohei Ohtani signed with the Dodgers.
Yeah, oddly enough. Yeah,
he was an NBA reporter.
He is.
But he has 2.2 million followers. He writes for The Athletic. This is the tweet this morning. There's currently a growing disconnect between Darvin Ham and the Lakers locker room stemming from disjointedness around rotation and adjustments.
This is so stupid.
So weird.
And I said it last night, and I'll repeat it this morning. If you're going to give LeBron James and Anthony Davis all the credit for winning an in-season tournament or any of the success that this team has had since they've come together in LA, you have to also hand them the blame. Frank Vogel was not the problem. Frank Vogel got fired because LeBron James needed political cover because he didn't want to take full accountability for what was going on. All right. Rob Pelinka is along for the ride. Okay. The Lakers are along for the ride. Frank Vogel or Darvin Ham or whoever the next head coach, because inevitably there will be a firing here, especially if they continue to lose, is not the problem. The problem is and remains to be LeBron James if the Lakers are losing. If they're winning, the solution and the success can be attributed to LeBron James. I don't understand why this is so hard. What, we're going to crown him like the reason when they're having a great season, and we're going to say it's all coaching when they're having problems? This is so stupid and so vapid and transparent and dumb. And I can't believe Lakers fans fall for it, because I was talking to one last night and he was like, yeah, Darvin Ham's got to go. I'm like, why? What did he do?
Yeah, I think you are 1,000% spot on. This is shifting the blame, passing the blame, And at the same time, the same people who are saying Darvin Ham's got to go are the same people that say that coaching is not the reason that that they're winning or losing. So why do you want to do this? It's bizarre to me. Look, get some more wins under the belt. All of a sudden, this talk goes away.
So this is a big write-up in The Athletic that Shams did this morning. And he says 6 sources with direct knowledge of the situation say that raising questions about the head coach's standing is there. There's a deepening disconnect between Darvin Ham and the Lakers locker room. Who do we think those 6 sources are?
Yeah.
And does it rhyme with Bron Schmame?
Yes.
Yeah. It's
And does he count as more than one source?
well, it could be him, and it could be his agent, and it could be AD
Rob Pelinka.
and Rob. Like, look, here's the reality of the situation: is Darvin Ham, when he took the job, he knew what job he was taking. He was taking the job that if things were going to go well, and he kept things, nice with LeBron, he was going to keep the job for a long time. But at any turn of any sort of discord whatsoever, they were going to use him as a human shield. And that's exactly what's happening. So whatever issues exist in the Lakers locker room, I don't know. I'm not there. LeBron James, though, after that loss to the Heat last night, he up and left. He didn't speak with the media. He bailed. Anthony Davis gave short answers. Austin Reeves, he gave short answers. And he actually said, look, we're losers right now. So it's a crummy feeling when you like we were talking about, when you raise a banner and you apply some effort for the first ever in-season tournament. And on the other side of it, that was literally 2 weeks ago, and now they're talking about firing the head coach.
Right.
It's crazy.
It would
is
not
crazy.
surprise me in the slightest if LeBron made a push to be a player coach this season.
It wouldn't shock me either.
No, I wouldn't be shocked.
No.
That wouldn't be good. But
Well, he's been a crappy GM for about a decade
right.
now.
That's what I'm saying.
You can't say that. You can't say
Well,
that.
I can say that.
No, you can't. Well, I mean, it's your opinion. I think it's a bad opinion because LeBron James has won championships. He's won 3 championships over the last decade. He's been a great general manager.
That is true. However, there's just something that feels not good about it.
I understand. Hey, listen, you don't have to agree. It's like, don't hate the player, hate the game. You don't have to agree with how the NBA is currently comported. But LeBron James is a great player. He's a great acquirer of skill. He did it when he went to South Beach with Bosh and Wade. He did it when he went to LA with AD, and he's trying to cobble together his next championship. And I think he's trying to hang on long enough to play with Bronny Jr. when he finishes up his career with USC.
Some more breaking news here, fellas. Iggy Azalea stepping away from music, but don't worry, she will still be performing at the Adult Video Network Awards. So
Wait.
the Oscars for the porn industry.
I'm pretty sure she
What?
was the #1 earner on OnlyFans this past year.
Well,
Wait a second. She's on OnlyFans?
She's like the most successful OnlyFanser.
What? Guys, I gotta run. Oh wow.
wow,
look at that picture.
wow.
Okay.
She's okay.
I'm gonna take the rest of the day off. I gotta I think
that's a performance. That doesn't look like.
I think my cat's on fire. I gotta
Wait.
run. No.
Well, you're not going to get any new music from her, so she's apparently not so fancy.
At least you can run a lot faster now, because of the hair loss and because of the weight loss.
Yeah, certainly.
That is true.
Absolutely.
That is true.
Hey, by the way, coming up next, the biggest story in college football nobody's talking about. Later in the hour, we're going to get to the wheel of football. But right now, I want to talk to everybody about the ever-reducing size of the waistlines here in studio with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We signed up with SDFatLoss.com, and it was mainly because we were tired of losing a bunch of weight, trying a diet, and then gaining it all back. It's called yo-yo dieting. Everybody's been through this who has tried to lose weight in the past. And if you've been frustrated by this in your recent past, let us help you, because honestly, until we met Wayne and Chloe, we really didn't have the answers either. That's your weight loss team over at SDFatLoss.com, and they've been awesome. They have truly been awesome. And I mean that. I'm in awe of how connected they are to our weight loss journey, right? Look, they're paid by us. It's one of those things where you're going to sign up and you're going to spend a little money, but when you have them in your corner and they're checking in on you and you have that accountability, like, it's an important thing to have somebody who's rooting you on. So in the first 2 weeks, I lost close to 20 pounds. Fletch, basically, when he turns sideways, he disappears. Like, there's several times where he's in studio with us and we forget he's in studio with us. TD, you've lost what, 30 plus?
Yeah.
30 plus.
I'm down a full neck size.
The guy lost a full neck size,
I can almost get my belt around my neck.
which honestly does more than he should. And we got to have a longer conversation, but we'll do that a different time. SDFatLoss.com. That is the website you need to go to if you want to be like us. Look, again, we were big fatsos. Okay. This was middle of the year last year. And we met Wayne and Chloe, and they said, no, we can really help you, and we can help you keep the weight off for good. In fact, we got down to a comfortable weight. Fletch, he wants to lose a little bit more, so he got back on the reduction phase. We're still maintaining on this side of the glass. 858-665-3211. That number again, 858-665-3211, SDFatLoss.com.
Do me a favor, if you're just sitting there right now listening to us, open up your phone, go to the App Store, download Prize Picks, and use promo code Fletch, because that'll get you a first deposit match up to $100. Or if you're at your computer at the office, just go to prizepicks.com/Fletch, and you'll get a first deposit match up to $100. I'm telling you, this is the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning, because you never know what specials Prize Picks is going to have to offer, whether it's Taco Tuesday or whether it's the entries you can place on Fridays that are essentially free entries. If you know what you're doing, Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and that's them for a reason, because they're the easiest and the most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling against thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just pick more or less on a 2 to 6 player stat projection and watch the winnings roll in. In the 4 or 5 weeks I've been telling you about Prize Picks, I'm up $768, and it tells me that in the app. And the quick withdrawals are probably my favorite part of this app, because I've done the other ones, right? And it could take you 2-3 weeks sometimes to get the withdrawal. With Prize Picks, I withdrew on a Sunday. I had a $500 win based on UFC and the NFL. I withdrew on Sunday. The cash was in my bank account on Monday morning. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season. It's the most exciting way I've played daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. You can make your entry in less than 60 seconds, and that is an absolute fact. So get on over to prizepicks.com/Fletch, download the PrizePicks app and use promo code Fletch. You'll get a first deposit match up to $100, and you could start watching the winnings roll in today. prizepicks.com/Fletch.
Super Bowl run here with the Miami Dolphins, but luckily no one was hurt, but very, very sad. I mean, they say it is catastrophic. I mean, it's done. They're going to have to rebuild. Ouch. Yeah, very scary. Meanwhile, some other football news here. A big story. JJ McCarthy. Man, oh man. This one is a little bit mind-blowing to me. So JJ McCarthy throws out some allegations that now he's trying to walk back a little bit.
Yeah. This is one of those situations where I think because he's so embedded on the side of the Michigan Wolverines case against NCAA that they done nothing wrong, that he's making a very critical error. And it's an error that people make when they're drinking the Kool-Aid. And it's that, well, the Kool-Aid can't kill you.
Mhm.
Like, the people who, tell me that we're doing it the right way, they're right, and the rest of you are wrong. Well, here's what JJ McCarthy said. Here's the direct transcript from when he sat down and had a conference with a bunch of the other Wolverine players from the Michigan facility. He goes, yeah, I also feel like it's so unfortunate because there's probably, and I don't want to say a crazy number, but I would say a good number, like 80% of the teams in college football stealing signs. It's just a thing about football. It's been around for years. We actually had to adapt because in 2020 or 2019, when Ohio State was stealing our signs, which is legal, and they were doing it, we had to get up to their level, and we had to make it an even playing field. I just feel like it sucks because, like Mason said, another one of his teammates, we do our work. We work our butts off. We watch so much film. We look for those little tendencies. We spend like 10, 15 minutes on one clip alone, just looking at the little details of the posture of the linebackers or the defensive ends, the safeties off levels, the corners in field or press coverage to the boundary, little stuff like that, where it's like you could say it's sign stealing, but there's a lot more that goes into play. It's a lot of stuff that gets masked, a lot of work that gets masked just because the outside perception of what sign stealing is all about. Now, JJ, here's the problem, bud. You're not going to be aware of the full scope of the sign stealing scandal because you're protected from it.
Correct.
Like if Jim Harbaugh all of a sudden, or the defensive coordinator for the Wolverines, whispers into the ear of the middle linebacker who wears the green dot on his helmet, hey, watch screen to the left side, or watch middle screen, or hey, they're going to run the post behind you, get to your depth and coverage. How do they know that? Well, it's because they are literally, if they are stealing signs from an opponent, looking at the offensive signs from the sideline being called in to the opponent, and then they're relaying the exact plays to the player on the field. It's not because of your film study habits, bud. It's because your coaches are actually able to diagnose and give you the play or the play concept that's being run because they're stealing signs, if that's exactly what's happening.
Right, which you are absolutely correct. However, I still fall on the side of that's on the offensive coach there, letting those signs be stolen. If somebody can read it, then that's on you. So, I mean, your opponent is going to try to look for any advantage they can get to win this game. So if they're able to decipher what you're throwing out there, I mean, would you rather your opponent just closes their eyes while you make the play? I mean, come on, give me a break. However, where this gets really dicey, JJ McCarthy, is the person who has the most eyeballs on them is your coach.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And guys, doesn't this feel so much like the Houston Astros?
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
And almost identical. And you heard Astro players after the fact being like, you really think we're the only ones?
No. Well, listen, they weren't.
And they weren't, and neither is Michigan.
And other coaches and other players were implicated who didn't play for the Astros any longer, because guess what they were doing? They were spreading it around Major League Baseball. And guess what? It didn't start in Houston. I hate to break it to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There was a memo sent to all 30 ball clubs to stop doing this. And I know for a fact from talking to people who have great sources throughout Major League Baseball who said that this was rampant through Major League Baseball. The Astros just got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And
they were the high-profile team on the way to a World Series, so that's why it blew up the way it was, and they weren't going to make the Dodgers the villains. They were going to make the Houston Astros the villains.
And somebody's got to take the fall.
And then with the spider tack thing just a couple years ago now, Tyler Glasnow, the pitcher for the Rays, came out and said, yeah, 80-90% of Major League Baseball pitchers are doing this.
Which, by the way, still doesn't make cheating right. Try using that excuse with your wife, JJ McCarthy, or your husband. Look, it's 2024.
80 to 90% of people are sleeping around on these road trips.
Well, no, I mean, it's not even that. Like, say your spouse catches you cheating, and instead of saying, I didn't cheat, and lying, you say, you know what? Everybody does it. Like, what? Like, listen, I'm not saying it's right to lie. And JJ McCarthy may not even be lying. He may be just regurgitating what he's been said. Like I said, drinking the Kool-Aid tastes good. You feel protected. But guess what? Sometimes the Kool-Aid kills you. And so that's what I think is happening here. He had to walk back some of these comments. Actually, Marty Smith with ESPN said that he clarified those comments with him personally. And he asked him if it was all right if he tweeted out some of the clarity he provided. And JJ McCarthy said, yeah, for sure. He said, for clarity, when I was talking about how our signs were being stolen, he didn't mean that they were being stolen illegally. Right. I mean, sure, JJ. And then also he goes, and I wasn't talking about us then retaliating by stealing other team signs. I was talking about retaliating by protecting our signals better. Sure, JJ. Got it, Chief. Listen, maybe do yourself a favor. You've got like 8 days left on campus. Maybe just go ahead and zip it and talk about how great your offensive line has been all season long, JJ, because you're just going to get yourself investigated by the NCAA.
Right. This is where you want those predetermined or pre-practice lines to come out.
Yeah. Look, we're just giving 110%.
That's right. What did Harbaugh say when he was asked about coaching of
day to day? We got
day-to-day.
great meetings coming up later tonight. I'm in the happiest place on earth. I'm at Disneyland right now.
What? The end. You don't answer any question. You just throw out some random statement.
Excuse me,
Day-to-day, we're
Jim.
doing
Sorry,
it every
I asked
day.
you. I asked you about the head coaching jobs that you're taking with the Chargers potentially. And
Right.
happiest place on earth, man. Look at this.
Right. Listen, we're just working hard and we're staying hard, and it's all about being hard. And speaking of which, I want to talk to you guys about testosterone replacement therapy. Okay. I want to get to that because it's very important. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart right now. And we're going to play a little wheel of football coming up next. Don't you worry. Like, we got the wheel. It's in studio. It's being wheeled over to Travisdale as I speak. Cannot wait to play wheel of football. But first, I got to talk to you about Dr. Roy David, board certified plastic surgeon over at Golden Triangle. He opened the Man Zone. What's the Man Zone, you asked? So glad you asked. It is a place where you could get your T levels checked. So if you're a man who's in his 40s, 50s, or 60s, or even like me in your late 30s, I had no idea that testosterone low T could affect somebody my age, but I'm 37. I went into Dr. Roy David's office, got my testosterone levels checked. It's supposed to be within a range of average between 300 and 1,000, and I was in the low 300s, and it kind of frightened me, to be perfectly honest with you, because low T can attribute to a whole host of other issues that you can experience. And I got to admit, I mean, I wasn't feeling all that motivated to get in the gym. There was definitely things about my life and my lifestyle that were struggling. I was suffering because I didn't realize that I had low T. So if you're like me and there's any experiences that you feel embarrassed about, don't be embarrassed. This is completely discreet. You walk into the place, the Man Zone, they got this cool little lobby where you can watch ESPN on the big screen. You can pour yourself a little whiskey or grab a beer out of the fridge, and then you get your T levels checked. And then before you know it, if you do come up as having lower testosterone than you need to have, you're going to have a monthly supply. You're going to leave that day with the help you need. So again, it's Dr. Roy David, board certified plastic surgeon over at Golden Triangle Plastic Surgery, the Man Zone. You can check them out at themanzone.com. That's themanzone.com. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We've got a ticket giveaway coming up in just a few minutes.
Just at the start of the last segment, I said the exact same thing. I blew it.
No. It's an appropriate tease because this segment, this hour, we're going to give away our first pair of tickets. It'll be a little bit of a surprise. It's either going to be Brothers Osborne or it's going to be Aztecs tickets. We'll make that announcement in about 3 minutes. We'll tell you how to win them in about 3 minutes. That's coming up. Looking forward to that. If you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, we appreciate it. Keep doing it. And if you love the show, share a link with a friend. It's the best way to support us. Coming up later on, we're going to get back to the storyline the NFL wish would go away during the end of the regular season. Also, the Padres made an impressive signing. We'll cover all that. But the wheel of football. Play that sound, Ben.
Top storylines are on the board. It's time for the Wheel of Football. 1, 2, 3.
That's right. And we already spun it for the first time. Look at you getting a head start.
Yeah. I thought that was how we're supposed to do this. But here it is. We'll kick it off with this. Has Saquon Barkley played his final game as a Giant?
Saquon Barkley has been a kind of a problem for the New York Football Giants, and here's why. You can't be reliant on a running back anymore in this league. You just can't. Look at the Titans. Derrick Henry starts hitting the cliff or the edge of the cliff, and they completely fall apart. You can rely on a quarterback for a decade, maybe longer if he's a franchise guy. Running backs, you get like 3 good years out of them if they're great, and then they fall to pieces on you. Saquon Barkley is kind of an NFL afterthought. Maybe he has another good season in him. Maybe he has 2, maybe.
Right.
But you cannot build your franchise around him any longer.
And he's got this weekend's game, I guess, would be his final game.
Yeah.
But I would imagine so. He's no longer a Giant. What's he going to do on the Giants at this point? I mean, they're not going to pay for him, right?
No.
Did they franchise tag him again, or are they out?
No, they're out.
Yeah.
They're out. I wouldn't bring him back. I would look. There are so many cheaper running backs in this league or in college football that are going to filter up into this league. I mean, it makes no sense for the Giants to keep him around. So I agree. I think he's played his last game as a New York Giant. You want to spin that way?
Yeah, spin this thing.
Yeah.
Whoa. It sounded like it almost started going downhill.
I thought there was a rattlesnake behind it.
Oh, look what it is.
good
Well,
Lord.
boys,
Yeah.
allow
Fletch,
me.
Go ahead.
Did you guys see that the NFL really screwed up?
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
with this
it's a
whole
weird-
Pro Bowl voting thing? Like,
Mhm.
Weird. Who
there's going to
wrote
be
this?
9 49ers in the Pro Bowl, which
Uh-huh.
is just an absurd number. That's the most across any team in the NFL.
Right.
But they're going to have to find replacements because none of those 9 players will be able to play in it because the Niners will be getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Interesting. Interesting.
Okay, it's weird
Big problem.
that just showed up on the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So strange.
yeah.
The wheel of football, it chooses its own path. So interesting that. And why it's painted red, we don't know either.
Yeah, I mean the Niners look like they should get there, right? In all what the world, I guess, just ended today. That's what it looks like to me. But I mean, who knows? There could be somebody that the Niners run into that becomes a bit of a buzzsaw. I don't feel like it's going to be the Eagles, and I don't feel like it's going to be the Cowboys.
Rams are the scariest team to me
Yeah.
in the NFC
Where I was headed
postseason.
to. Where I was
Yeah.
headed to, unless these Detroit Lions are super pissed and they just come out firing on all cylinders.
So listen, with that many players selected to the Pro Bowl, I do agree that look, unless something absurd happens, I think the 49ers are going to be in the Super Bowl. I also think that as a result, we're going to have probably one of the worst looking Pro Bowls that we've seen in a long time, because it's going to be a lot of the names that we were attached to and learned about or heard about the most were on the Niners. McCaffrey,
Mhm.
Debo, Kittle. I mean, even some of their role players offensively were players like Trent Williams, obviously a star at left tackle, but we don't usually talk that much about offensive linemen. We've talked a lot about Trent Williams this year because he's so crucial to this team. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of second place vote getters who are going to make the Pro Bowl this year.
So with that statement, you are agreeing that the 49ers are in the Super Bowl.
I do think that the 49ers most likely get there. However, I do want chaos to
Right.
take hold.
Right.
I would way prefer like a Detroit to get in.
I just don't want to play the Rams.
Yeah, well,
You might.
You might.
We're playing them this week, but that's not going to be the Rams. The
No,
playoff
that's,
Rams.
That's a Carson Wentz
Right,
Rams.
right.
Hey, Carson Wentz is pretty good.
Hey, check this out. Which QB do you trust most in the postseason? Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes?
Ooh.
So both
Good
AFC
Lord.
quarterbacks,
If
they
you'd
may
asked me
end up
this
facing
question
each other.
a year ago, I'd have slapped you in the face. But it becomes a serious question this year because Lamar Jackson clearly has had a much better season. Patrick Mahomes clearly does not have the talent around him to really be able to do much. Like he doesn't trust these wide receivers. It's clear to see. I do wonder if the Chiefs go desperation and bring in a Dalvin Cook just to have somebody, if it's out of the backfield, can catch a pass. Because so far this season, that's where Patrick Mahomes has had the most success throwing the football is to the backs out of the backfield, whether it's Jarrett McKinnon or Clyde Edwards-Helaire or even at times Isaiah Pacheco, even though he's more of a running back. But when you look at his options at wide receiver, he doesn't have much. And when you look at his option at tight end, I feel like Noah Gray has had a better season than Travis Kelce has. So I think I have to go Lamar Jackson here.
You know what's crazy is I'm in the same boat here, Fletch. If you would have asked me this, just a few weeks ago, I would probably still be leaning Patrick Mahomes because he has that X factor. I mean, he knows how to win. Look, he's been in either the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl 5 out of 6 years he's been playing. It's every year he's been a starter. So how do you not bet on Patrick Mahomes? However, if I took that Nickelodeon claw and picked up Patrick Mahomes and made him the starting quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, I don't think Patrick Mahomes has the same season Lamar Jackson has. Lamar Jackson has been very special. He is special. And I mean, talk about elite quarterbacks. He has been an elite quarterback this year. I have to go with, I trust Lamar Jackson more here.
So quarterback, I trust Patrick Mahomes. Team, offense, I trust the Baltimore Ravens. So I think Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback still. And I think having, the playoff record and the playoff acumen that he has is going to buoy this team's chances for success in the postseason. However, we've never seen Patrick Mahomes on the road in the postseason. So there's a little bit of newness there. With Lamar Jackson, the talent is absurd. The year he's had, he's been one of the most accurate deep passers this season. In certain weeks, last week was a good example. He's been the most explosive passer this season in many games. Patrick Mahomes still has the magic, but he can't do it alone. He needs Travis Kelce. He needs Tony to step up. He needs some of these other role players like Rashee Rice and Isaac Pacheco to step up for him in the postseason. Otherwise, the Chiefs will get knocked out.
I think that what I have seen this year with Patrick Mahomes that I've never seen before is he's playing with a little bit of desperation.
Yeah.
And that's causing him to make a few mistakes here. But it's crazy to say. I would still go Lamar Jackson. I agree with you. I think Patrick Mahomes is an all-around better quarterback, but Lamar Jackson has been absolutely on fire.
Do we want to spin it one more time?
One more
Do we
spin
got
here?
time?
Okay, here we go.
Right, let's try this.
We got it.
It's a good, healthy spin.
That was a healthy spin. Well, it landed. It's going to land on one we've already talked about. So we'll just go with one more here. The most important non-QB in the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Non-QB in the playoffs. Boy, there are so many good options here.
Well, okay, if you assume that the Miami Dolphins get out of the first round of the postseason, Tyreek Hill automatically becomes the most important non-quarterback in the postseason.
Maybe, but are we restricting this to offense
No,
alone?
no.
So I'm going to say Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
That's the first name that materialized in my head. That Cleveland defense, nobody wants to face them. And so, look, Joe Flacco's been great, and everybody's been lauding Joe Flacco. Myles Garrett is a monster, and he is having a defensive player of the year type season.
I think he's 1 sack away from hitting his over on the season.
So I'm going to say Myles Garrett.
Man, I'm going to go with the entire Cowboys defense. That if they want to go anywhere, that defense is going to have to keep the points low and let Dak Prescott not have to go and win the game. So you keep the pressure off him, and then he can be the quarterback that we've seen all year and not become the Dak Prescott that we've seen in past years.
We'll throw a wild card out there.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right. Who is it?
NFL referees.
Oh, wow.
If it continues to be
a wild card.
what has happened this season, which is refs really screwing up ends of games, you're talking about unforgivable territory if you do it in the postseason.
Fletch, you a damn wild card right now.
Wild card.
You out of control, man. You out of control.
You better get yourself in control. You
I
got
better.
that. You got that weight in control.
That's right.
Better
That's
start
right.
losing some weight here.
Yeah, you
Because I want to get
better.
down to the 2 teens.
Two
Because
teens.
I did SD fat loss, and I put my goal of 230 on the app when we first started it, and I hit that goal. I got down to 230. I've been sitting in the maintaining phase for a while now, and I just decided, I can go back and I can lose some more here. And I'd like to get down to 215. I really would. I'm having success with the first 2 days. It's like riding an old bike, right? You just get back on and you start making the same food you made earlier. But if you're thinking about trying the latest fad medication, or if you're thinking about doing the yo-yo diets, which we all did and we all failed at, what you won't realize is that you might lose weight in the short term, but it's just from temporarily suppressing your hunger.
I succeeded. I yo-yoed.
You did yo-yo.
He did.
In fact, you went yo-yo all the way down, and
Yeah.
yo-yo went up past your head.
Yeah, that did happen.
He
It was a
walked his
little out of
dog.
control.
Around the world.
Because as soon as you got off that diet, TD, what happened? That weight, that
Yeah.
frustration, it all came back to haunt
It
you.
did come back.
Came back in a big way, and it came back for all three of us, which is why we went and sought out SDFatLoss.com.
Woo suck.
Yeah, that.
Usucko.
Because they have the secret for quick weight loss and, most importantly, lasting weight loss. Get on over to SDFatLoss.com today. Talk to Wayne and Chloe. Get a free consultation. You got nothing to lose except unwanted pounds.
All right. Call right now, 844-570-1360. That number, no, it's not. No, it's not.
877-767-4760.
Yeah, if you want to win
I like
Brothers
that.
Osborne tickets, call 8,777-674760 right now. That's 877-767-4760.
It worked. Or they called the old number,
Yeah.
one of the two.
Yeah, they probably did. But we're transitioning to this new number. So save 877-767-4760. Just save it to your phones. But calling right now, Brothers Osborne ticket at Cal Coast Credit Union Amphitheater coming up, livenation.com for more tickets and info. But yeah, caller number 5, you got those tickets.
And we're number 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Progressive Insurance. Aztecs cruise to a win over Fresno State 74-47, but not without concern. Star Reese Waters rolling his ankle pregame, then re-aggravating it in the game. Missed the whole second half. Emerging star and true sophomore Miles Bird leaves the game with turf toe. Aztecs get a very tough UNLV team on Saturday at 1 at Viejas Arena. Hopefully we get some news on those two guys coming up in the next couple of days. In the NFL, with Week 18 around the corner, the Stars are sitting down for pretty much every team with a locked-in postseason spot. Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy both sitting, as well as Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford, and Joe Flacco. Sticking with the NFL here, Dolphin star wide receiver Tyreek Hill, he came home to see his Miami mansion burning down yesterday in a scary situation. Hill and his family are safe. In the NBA, Lakers lose to the Heat 110-96 last night in LA, dropping the Lakers to under 500 on the season. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Join the growing team at Progressive Insurance. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Thursday to those who celebrate. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. We just gave away our first pair of tickets for the day. We still have another pair of tickets to give away. We must give them away this hour. So if you want to go see the Aztecs, your 2-loss Aztecs, how many wins do they have on the season? 12-2 Aztecs taking on UNLV this Saturday. Tip off at 1 p.m. at Viejas Arena. Tickets and info available at goaztecs.com. But if you want to win those tickets, be listening today. Also, if you're listening on the free iHeartRadio app, we appreciate it. Keep listening there. Share with friends. And I literally mean that. Share a link with your friends. It's the best way to support the show. We've discussed a lot so far this morning, but the one storyline that really fired us up the most is the Padres' newest signing. Woo suck, go. 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 It's go time. It's go time.
Yeah, it is go time, baby.
Sucko.
$4.5 million, 2 years.
That's it. That's all it takes to get the most chantable name in baseball, right behind Ha-Sung Kim.
Golly, we're doing it.
Who, by the way, we kind of do need another chantable nickname because I'm not sure how much longer Ha-Sung Kim is going to be a Padre because I don't know if they're going to be able to afford Ha-Sung Kim here pretty soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is a little disappointing, but
his name's come up a few different times in trade rumors also.
No, we don't need that. No.
By the way, you know who is still out there available to be signed?
Who's that?
Codename Scorpio.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sanchez could come back.
Like now that we're just accepting that the Padres are going to disappoint us all and not spend all the money they saved on the Soto deal, like let's start bargain hunting, okay? I really liked Codename Scorpio.
But Codename Scorpio Sanchez, you don't think he goes like package deal with Snell somewhere?
He might.
I mean, they're buddy buds. By the way, the Yankees apparently in big talks with Snell right now.
Yeah. Well, Yankees also the Giants apparently they're throwing their hat into that ring.
Seattle's going to be in on him too.
Seattle. He wants to play on the West Coast.
They've been courting Blake Snell since the time he was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
Golly, can you imagine getting Scorpio back?
That'd be great.
Wow.
You know what? That would be a coup.
That would be real cool.
Having Sanchez come back to the fold. We need a power hitter. Well, how did he finish the season? He got hurt, right? He broke his arm.
It was like a really fun 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but it was a really fun 3 weeks.
It was great.
Where if he started in the first inning with a home run, he usually followed it up in like the third inning with a home run.
The only reason, one of the major reasons the Padres were winning some of these games was because of Codename Scorpio.
What did Gary Sanchez injure? I'm trying to look it up and remind me. Oh, fractured wrist. So
that's right.
It was a broken arm. Well, broken wrist.
Well,
but yeah, so that
he left it all out there on the field.
Well, that's why we love him so much. Codename
worked
Scorpio.
His ass off.
We need you back. And honestly, he got hit by that pitch. You know what he got? He got himself a base.
Yeah,
he did it for the team, gang.
That's right.
Did for
what
team.
He needed.
Actually, I'm not sure if I remember if he got hit by a pitch or if he broke his wrist a different way. He might have fallen down at the top step of the dugout. It doesn't matter.
With a hot dog in his hand.
He did it for the team.
It's right.
Oh, what?
What?
He's not a free agent anymore.
Wait, no.
Did he get picked up?
I think so by the stupid Mets.
Oh,
No, he's an unrestricted free agent. It's okay.
God.
No,
Old
he
story.
came from the
Thank
Mets,
God.
you maniac. Oh, God.
Old story. I
Golly.
thought they took him back. 2024
Oh.
unrestricted
You
free
have
agent.
any
That was
idea?
scary.
Yeah.
So dizzy right now.
Yeah, gosh. I'm
Wow.
fanning Travis.
Yeah.
Poor TV.
Golly.
I mean, he
Golly.
doesn't look well.
It's official, by the way, apparently, that Lamar Jackson will not be playing this week.
Yeah, so it's going to be Huntley.
Yeah,
Tyler
thanks for listening
Huntley.
to my updates, TD.
Wait, was I supposed to be listening to the updates?
No,
I
you're
mean,
right.
I've said it every update since 6 a.m.
So Huntley, and actually that brings us very nicely to our next topic here that the NFL doesn't want us to talk about, but we will because that's what we do here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We talk about whatever we want.
Yeah.
Here at NFL, you have the likes of, listen to some of these QB matchups, gang. All right, check it out. Like, if you turn on Chargers Chiefs, you're going to get to see Easton Stick take
Yes.
on Blaine Gabbert.
Lit.
Okay, how about this? Whoa. Wait, not impressed yet? What about Sammy Darnold taking on LA Rams QB Carson Wentz?
Foya. Foya.
Wow. Wow.
all
You
right.
got any more?
Yeah, well, I got one more for you. Buckle up, buddy.
Why don't unwrap this package?
How about Brown's fifth starting quarterback, Jeff Driscoll, taking on Cincy backup Jake Browning? Yeah, that's right. Week 18, lit AF.
How about that? How about the Browns, man? Having to go through 5 quarterbacks. Was there breaking news supposed to be there?
No, it's supposed to be applause.
Oh, okay.
I'm really good at my job.
We stand on business.
That's right. There we go. That one worked.
2024, we stand on business. We
Right.
always have.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, so the NFL has a little bit of a crisis right now. Week 18 is featuring some of the worst, and I mean worst, starting lineups in NFL history. So we were actually lauding the NFL for having one of the best finales to the regular season in all of sports because this new playoff format, it creates more intrigue down the stretch. And not to say that there aren't certain divisions that are wide open and still up in the
Dolphins
air
Bills play each other this weekend for the division.
for the crown of the AFC East.
That's huge.
You have a three-way a
I'm
menage
listening.
a menage a trois of intrigue in the AFC South. You have the Texans and the Colts playing against each other. The winner of that game could take the AFC South title if the Jags lose to the Titans. So you have 3 teams that could take the AFC South if the events that unfold occur. You have the South in the NFC hotly contested between the Bucks and the Saints.
Bears can play spoiler to the Packers this weekend.
There are games that matter.
Did you see
However,
Aaron Rodgers, by the way, talking about the Packers' dominance over the Bears for the last 9 years?
yeah, he's still even though he wears Jets green,
He was
still,
saying we when he
Yeah.
was talking about the Packers.
he still cares a lot about the Green Bay Packers. And also, I don't blame him. He's got a lot of buddies in that locker room. He knows that locker room better than he knows the Jets locker room.
Turns out he also really loves Jordan Love.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
I think he helped groom him into a pretty talented quarterback. And also, he shared with him a lot of the wisdom that he bestows on top of a national audience now on Pat McAfee's show
You
because
know, like about vaccines, about
about
jabs,
UFO and
Epstein.
conspiracy theory.
I thought you said jazz.
no,
was like-
jabs.
Got it.
Get the jab.
Listen, we're going to talk Tony Dorsey. No, what? Tommy Dorsey. Who's the jazz guy?
I don't know.
Etta James? Is she a
That's the one
jazz
I
singer?
wanted. I think it works.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe Louis Armstrong,
Yeah.
little jazz trumpet.
I know him.
Know him. But we could go newer stuff. We could go like Boney James or Kenny G.
Gee, we can't call him a jazz artist.
Why?
Is he a jazz clarinetist?
He's a saxophonist.
Oh, he's a saxophonist. All right. Wait, who am I thinking? Who's the clarinetist?
I don't know. He looks like Kenny G looks like he's playing the clarinet
How?
because he
How?
plays that what?
How did we get here?
Soprano sax.
I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
said jazz.
Yeah.
I said jabs, which is also bad.
Suck, go. Woo, suck, go. Woo, suck, go. Woo, suck, go.
I think the reason I brought it up is because the Bears play the Packers this weekend. The Bears have a chance to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. Much like, remember last year it was Lions, Packers last week of the season. Lions had the chance to knock the Packers out of the postseason.
Okay. Yes. Listen, this is very fun. The way the NFL does schedule, having all divisional rivalries to finish the season, because there will be important games, and then they smartly spread them out throughout the broadcast day. So you're going to be able to focus on the games that matter, and they will do their best to hide matchups such as Jeff Driscoll taking on Jake Browning for an AFC North non-starter.
How dare you? That is Jake the Snake.
No.
Big
No.
snake, Jake.
There's already a Jake the
Come on,
Snake.
it's already
You
Jake
do
the Snake.
not want to have copyright infringement on this show.
Well, I'm trying to get him on the show.
Yeah, and
Trying
also,
diligently.
as we prepare you for the big game.
Right. It makes sense. Totally makes sense. I don't know why the NFL just couldn't spare one game. Well, I do know why, but just come on, give me another Thursday night game. Give me another Monday night game.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That's something that we did not address, and we have halftime coming up, so we should hit it on the other side. But yeah, the NFL has left a void in the middle of this week. We'll get to that on the other side of halftime. Remember, we have tickets to still give away on the show today. And coming up next, controversy that was caused on Tuesday has a carryover effect. We'll address that as well.
Well, what I got is what happened last night at Viejas Arena. The Aztecs rocked the Fresno State Bulldogs with a very satisfying palindromic 74-47 win. Reese Waters, by the way, had an ankle injury, missed the entire second half. What's that face?
Define that word, please.
It means it's
Same forward and backwards.
Oh,
Yeah. Which, see?
like mom.
Yeah, that's a palindrome.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Or wow.
Mom upside down also. It's weird. In the heated world of competitive darts, Luke Littler, recently a high school junior from Northern England, came up just short of becoming the youngest world champion in the history of professional darts. Number one in the world, another Luke Humphreys, got the win over Luke Little. And if you're trying to get up to speed on Luke Little, don't worry, because there's already a documentary in the works.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly. Some scores around the NBA. The Knicks took the Bulls by the horns, 116-100.
Yeah.
The Mavs, Lewis and Clark, the Trailblazers,
That's not a thing
126-97.
that you can't say that.
What?
Lewis and Clark, what does that even
What-
mean?
They were Trailblazers.
They're not verbs.
They were Trailblazers.
That's not a verb.
Wait, the Clippers eclipsed the Suns, 131-122.
That was clever.
Okay. The Heat Hodges the Lakers,
Sweet Jesus.
110-96. How about the Jazz internally combusted all over the Pistons, 154-148.
I'm not even sure we're allowed to say that.
The Raptors clever girl the Grizzlies, 116-111.
Okay. So that's a Jurassic Park reference.
I got one more for you.
Yeah.
The Hawks Imagine Dragon the Thunder, 141-138.
The best part about this is I don't know who won these games. But my favorite part of the NBA season so far has been Travis Dale, our very own
Thank you.
TD.
Thank you.
I need like a long break from
No,
the
it's
show
so good.
after taking a long break. Like we just got back. We just started the new year.
It's so
and
good.
it's this again.
Palindrome? Come on.
Yeah, what? That was,
It's high quality.
I thought so.
It's an SAT word.
Wow, thank you.
It's a. I mean,
Thank
like
you very much.
The vocabulary, the vernacular. It is top notch.
Sports.
Hashtag
Up
up
on
on game. Hashtag stand on business.
Hashtag. Let all the naysayers know.
You're damn right.
Something we didn't mention when we were going through scenarios for playoffs,
Mhm.
quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks who are playing each other. Pocky One Chip Challenge.
Ooh.
We got the odds.
Yeah, we did. We got it back from Jared Smith, who will join us tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning, as he does. Well, actually, we're going to move his time because Brian Callen is actually going to join us in studio
That's right.
at 7:30 tomorrow morning. So Jared Smith will join us. But what were the odds that he gave us for this 6-team parlay that me and Travis need in order for Ben Fletcher to eat the Pocky One Chip Challenge?
There's only one way I eat the chip, and you have to be perfect this weekend. And it's a mixture of the two of you gaining points because it's about me losing points.
Right.
Okay.
It's a very incestuous bracket or one chip challenge. So we all have different ones where we're
Sexual,
teamed up.
violent.
So if we gain the points in this scenario, you will lose points in this
I
scenario.
won't lose. I just won't gain any. This is
But-
all the teams that are left. I would be getting wrong. And so some of them you guys are getting wrong with me. Some of them you guys are getting right with me. But if this is the case, because I already have 7 points on the season, which is the most out of any of us.
Okay.
TD has 3, Rich has 5.
Nice.
So this is the way it goes. for it to be perfect, and it's at plus 1,400 odds. Packers money line over the Bears.
Got it.
Seahawks money line over the Cardinals.
Got it.
Okay.
Eagles money line over the, I don't know who the Eagles play. Giants.
Giants, yeah.
Right.
Bills money line over the Dolphins. Steelers money line
Mm.
over the, I don't know who the
Oh,
Steelers
man.
are playing.
They're
That
playing the
one.
Ravens.
Ravens.
Tyler Huntley just announced starter for the Ravens,
Mm.
resting a lot of their starters.
Wow,
Raiders
okay.
money line over the
Broncos.
Broncos.
Okay. Aiden O'Connell over Jarrett Stidham. All right. So the games that really make me nervous are the Packers game because
Hmm.
you're going to have Justin Fields trying to play Runer on the other side of that field, and also Bills Dolphins.
Yeah, that Bills
Yikes.
game.
Okay.
But is there a scenario if 5 of the 6 hit, then we all eat the chip?
Wait, what? Is that a possibility?
It is if the Steelers are the one that doesn't hit, because that would be a push, meaning nobody gets any points on that.
What were you over or under?
It doesn't matter.
It
We
doesn't matter
wouldn't-
because
Well,
if
no.
it hits the number, because it's a whole number, it's not a half.
No, I got you.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
no,
yeah.
I got you on that. I know I picked
I think
the over
you
on
were-
that.
Yeah, I can't remember if I was. Let's see. I have it right here.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go to the tape. Maybe.
He's got
Here
it.
we are. Because I feel like the Steelers ones
Well-
would matter.
Well, it wouldn't if they push. So if
Okay.
they land on the number, it doesn't matter if you
Okay.
chose over
Yeah,
or
no,
under.
I get that. I get that part.
So
Rich and
why
I were
would it
both
matter,
under.
though?
You were over.
Okay.
yeah,
Got
yeah.
it. No, I'm with you. I got you.
But in a
Why
sense,
did you
that
need him to check that.
does hurt Travis the most because he's the one who needs the most points.
Because I feel like if I gain a point and you lose
you,
a point.
You wanted to see who was on what on the Steelers
Yeah,
game.
right,
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Just in case they do win.
Well, because
or-
I need to win.
you need the win. Yeah, yeah.
I
yeah.
need
If
to
they
win,
win-
regardless.
If they win, they
Yes,
get
you
to
do.
10
Yeah.
wins on the season, going over their 9.
I don't want to eat this damn chip.
Okay, listen. It is highly likely you're eating the chip.
I know, and that worries me the most.
I want you to really wrap your head around it because it. I mean, if it's
because
anything,
I could have eaten the chip 3 months ago.
Well, yeah. Well,
You got pretty close at one point to just ripping it open.
I did.
This
I did,
was-
but I
this-
didn't have anything to help. I feel like at least now I can set up like a gallon of milk,
you're gonna need it.
like some vanilla ice cream.
Quick update on Aaron Rodgers being threatened lawsuit from Jimmy Kimmel. So that's a real statement. Like that happened. So this week, if you missed it, Aaron Rodgers made his weekly appointment on the Pat McAfee show, and the Epstein list is coming out. It somehow came up in conversation. Aaron Rodgers goes, yeah, there's a lot of people who need to be worried about that list, including Jimmy Kimmel.
This is all AJ Hawk's fault, by the way, because they were talking about something else, and AJ Hawk was just like, "Oh, you mean the Epstein list?"
They were talking about the Super Bowl
They were,
logo.
yeah, they were talking about the logos and how the NFL is scripted.
And so, yeah, he took it. He was trying to make a joke, and he hates Jimmy Kimmel, or they hate each other. It's a mutual admiration club over there between Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel. So, you know, the attacks and the barbs have been flung back and forth for years now. And so this is the next iteration of that, except Jimmy Kimmel, I guess, felt the poke to his ribs. You know, it hit him in a soft spot, and it got to him enough that he threatened lawsuit on X. And so Pat McAfee took to his show yesterday in the afternoon and led with the fact that all of a sudden his program was making international news. Here's a little bit of his monologue as he opened the show.
Whenever you're freewheeling and dealing in here, you know, and you're having conversations,
Letting it fly.
they can certainly lead to some places that cause like international news and things like that. And whenever there's accusations made about people, that can lead to lawsuits. Now, listen, I've been in one before
Yes.
with Brett Favre. Now, how'd that case end? Well, it ended with me having to read a letter basically stating that I know nothing that anybody else doesn't know publicly already.
Yeah. Listen, here's the reality. It's true. You expose yourself to potential harm, I guess, to a greater or lesser extent if you're a public figure. You know, your feelings could be hurt if you're sensitive enough, or potentially if your name is popular enough, famous enough, infamous enough, depending on what side people land on their opinions of you, you could even be in some danger. And that's what Jimmy Kimmel expressed when he sent out that tweet. And that's, to me, part of the story that hasn't been discussed enough is what danger exactly is he referencing that his family's in as a result of Aaron Rodgers connecting his name to the Epstein list. I don't really understand it. It hasn't been explained yet. Nobody's really discussed it, but he threatened Aaron Rodgers with lawsuit after he inferred that Jimmy Kimmel was on the Epstein list.
Yeah, which there are literal headlines today. Jimmy Kimmel confirmed not on the list. And now there are lawyers who are weighing in saying that, look, even if Jimmy Kimmel wanted to sue Aaron Rodgers, it would be a huge uphill battle because satire is protected by the First Amendment. So if the comment was made in jest and no reasonable person would believe he was reporting it as fact, then there would be no defamation.
And also, he never stated that he was on the list. All he said is he needs to be worried about it. Har, har, har.
Right.
And then they moved off of it. So,
which guess what? If it went to court, you know how many different statements of recorded on television statements that Jimmy Kimmel has made in satire, in jest about other people. So I mean, good luck.
yeah, his profession would be used against him. And it's a profession, by the way, that's made him a millionaire many times over. So
Right.
I don't get it. Again, the squabbles of these two, I don't think are all that impressive or important in terms of the sports world.
Cage match.
But I will say this, if it does end up going somewhere like that,
Well, we never got the Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg
dude,
one.
sign me up for an Aaron Rodgers,
Please.
Jimmy Kimmel cage match. Jimmy Kimmel appears to be is he a small guy or is he
He
a big
used
guy?
to be a fat guy.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
he's lost a lot of weight, and he actually looks like he's in good shape now.
Now, is he a big guy though? Because Aaron Rodgers is like a hulking man.
right.
He's like
That's right.
6'5". He's a big, strong athlete. Is Jimmy Kimmel? Is he like one of those guys who looks small but
6
is
foot tall.
okay? I mean, that's not an unfair matchup.
Means he's probably 5'10".
Maybe he hits the gym a little
Wow.
bit.
Wait, hold on. Was that an admission?
Maybe he's a little bit
Sure.
taller if he goes to the Good Feet store and he gets a little art supports in those shoes. Huh?
Whoa.
Yeah, you ever think of that?
Yeah.
Jimmy Kimmel?
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
Yeah, same here.
Wish I had a girl
Girl,
who
I
looked
would
good.
call
I
her.
would call her.
Right.
I have to do a lap.
A quick lap. That's all you need to do.
Right
Yeah.
back.
And while you're doing that, I want you to make sure that you have your strengtheners in.
I got him in.
So if you go over to the Good Feet store, they have 3 different art supports that they'll send you home with after your try before you buy and your free test walk. And that's what we all did. We did this 2 years ago now. We've been wearing these Good Feet arch supports, and they've really changed my life. 6 years in the NFL, a lot of miles on my lower back. Bad knees, a hip that I thought I was going to need surgery. A lot of that pain, all of that pain virtually has melted away wearing these arch supports over the course of these years. I've never felt more bounce in my step after playing a round of golf or walking around a theme park with the kids than I do after signing up with the Good Feet store, doing the whole experience over there. If you're looking for a location, super easy, goodfeet.com, 200 plus locations around the US and overseas. And they've been doing it for 30 plus years of service, and all of their products, those art supports, are proudly made right here in the USA, right here in San Diego County. They have a factory up in Carlsbad. They employ many of your San Diegans. So goodfeet.com to book your appointment. Start your journey to wellness in the new year with the Good Feet store.
Coming up, we've got some Aztecs tickets to give away. Keep it locked in.
This update is presented by Unbound.org. We'll begin here with the Aztecs, who cruised to a win over Fresno State last night, 74-47, but not without concern, as Reese Waters and Miles Bird both left that game with injuries. Reese Waters appeared to have rolled his ankle a little bit. Miles Bird leaving the game with turf toe. Aztecs get a very tough UNLV team on Saturday at 1 o'clock at Viejas Arena. We still got a pair of tickets to give away to that game coming up in this segment. Joe Flacco, Matthew Stafford, Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy, Lamar Jackson. What do these things all have in common? Well, they will not be playing in Week 18, as those teams have already locked in their playoff spot. And in the NBA, Lakers lose to the Heat 110-96 last night in LA, dropping the Lakers to under 500 on the season. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Big Rich City and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. We still have a pair of tickets to go see SDSU take on UNLV this Saturday, Viejas Arena. Tip-off at 1 o'clock. Pre-game coverage will start at noon. We set up outside of Viejas, but you can hear it here on San Diego Sports 760. Tickets and info at goaztecs.com, or keep listening because they will be given away in just a few minutes. That's what's going to happen. Hey, the results are in on what condiment is better for you, ketchup or mustard. This seemed like a no-brainer to me.
Mayonnaise.
No. What? That's got to be the worst one.
Is
for
it
you.
mustard?
It's mustard.
Yeah, I figured.
It's because I guess ketchup actually has more vitamins and minerals for you, but it's got sugar and forgot what else they said. Yeah, basically sugar.
I also think as I was younger, I liked ketchup a lot more. As I'm getting older, I'm starting to like mustard a lot more.
Yeah, I
There's
feel
more
you
you can
on
do
that.
with mustard. You can make it Dijon mustard. You can make it spicy mustard.
Also, like if you're eating something that's kind of gross, if you just put mustard on it, it just tastes like mustard. So it's
You
a
could
good,
use
it's
it
a
as
good
a binder
masker,
for your steaks or your briskets.
dude.
Mustard's great.
Without a doubt. Do
Uh,
you use it as a binder? I do.
I do not.
What do you use as a binder?
I generally go dry rub, just rub on meat on the barbecue, but I don't have a smoker.
Yeah, I like the mustard as a binder.
A lot of people do.
We should get you a smoker.
I don't have room for a smoker right now. That's in the plans.
What?
Before Rich gets back,
Okay.
have you seen the video of the dude in Las Vegas who got sentenced to like time in jail?
Yeah.
And the dude in Las Vegas who just got sentenced jumped over
Yeah.
the little judge desk thing and tackled her.
Yeah, he got some air. And all I'm saying is when he gets out of prison, which he probably added a number of years for that leap. I mean,
Have you seen this video, Rich?
Some team should sign him.
Did you see it on my Twitter?
I saw it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I put it up. So everybody, well, I'm not everybody, but this is the way I used it. I just took the video and I attached this. Nobody, ... My child at 2 a.m. and it's just leaping over the bench and tackling the judge, because this literally happened last night. Sebastian jumped in bed with us. And when I say jumped in bed with us, my 5-year-old gave me a flying knee to the groin in the middle of the night.
Did you deserve it?
No, I was sound asleep. No parent deserves the abuse that these children hand out. And by the way, yeah, that guy was like a 3-time felon. And so he was pissed that the judge didn't take kindly on him pleading his case.
My first question was, what the hell did they pay security for if not that?
Yeah, you'd think you'd have the bailiff right there,
Well,
right?
dude? Okay, so
I know he was very fast.
if
He
you
was
can-
so speedy.
if you can find the original video, and then scroll down, in the reply is the next scene from the courtroom, and he is getting absolutely walloped by
good.
the court
Good.
bell. I mean, like, legitimately, there's a gentleman who is standing to the immediate left of the judge who is just raining right hands down as if he's trying to start a lawnmower. And then you see the bailiff, all of a sudden he shifts his weight, and then his back is to the camera, and all you're seeing is his back muscles flex while he is swinging 1-2s at this gentleman for
Fantastic.
leaping over the bench and attacking the judge.
Fantastic.
Dude,
My-
some of the best athletes I've ever met were criminals.
Okay, well, so my first thought was, did he have a running start or he just leaped over?
Well, there's about 20 feet between him and the judge. So if you think about 20 feet, it's close to 10 yards. Like, you can get up to some pretty significant speeds with an 8-yard head start. And then the
It
leap,
was-
though, was really impressive.
I mean, very spectacular.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go, I'd give that like a 9-8 out of 10.
he looked like LeVar Arrington against Illinois, the LeVar leap. He looked like, what was that guy's name? Gary Reasons against the Denver Bronco. It was like the 1989 playoffs in the NFL. He leaped over the defense and the offensive line and made a tackle on, who was it? It was the Denver Broncos running back, but it was one of the craziest plays. Look it up. It's insane.
The
That's
most
what he looked
accurate
like.
comparison I saw that was nobody like yours, and then it was Troy Polamalu when you try a quarterback sneak or try and
On
kick a
4th
field
and
goal.
1. Yeah, that's
Good.
fantastic.
Good.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, it was impressive.
I'd side him.
Dude, I honestly, like,
Cleveland Browns, your
some
type of guy.
growing up, like, in my neighborhood, there were a couple of guys who were on the wrong side
Up
of
to
the
no
law.
good. Started making trouble in your neighborhood.
They were definitely on the wrong. You're about to earn yourself another lap.
Say you-
It's gonna happen again. Like, Ben's finger got
got-
very close.
I have to say it. They got one little fight. Your mom got scared.
There he goes.
God.
You gotta
God.
go. Take a lap. You son of a. Yep. There he is. All these '90s television references. It's really piling up. He's gonna be so skinny.
Can you imagine Haley walking around life with Travis Dale as her father?
No.
Or every time Travis has ever driven her and her friends, like when she was 15, 14 years old, how embarrassing he must have been.
Oh my God. I don't even know. We were just talking about how Haley Dale like has to deal with you as her dad.
Oh, she's so excited.
Yeah.
Like
I
13, 14, 15-year-old Haley before she could drive, and you had to drive her and her friends around,
Yeah.
probably hated your guts.
Yeah. I think they all did.
Dad,
they all
take a
probably
lap.
still do.
I had a buddy named Scooter when I was growing up. We all called him Scooter because
He had no legs.
he rode a scooter
Oh,
everywhere. We called him Scooter. And dude, he was the fastest human being I ever met. And all he did was petty theft. Like, he was constantly
What?
Yeah. Like, he never really made it through high school. I think he had to go to like one of those high schools for troubled kids but dude, I never saw him get caught by the cops. I never actually saw him but he would steal like bubble gum or like a pack of smokes from a convenience store, and like homie would be gone.
I think you really glossed over the funniest thing that's ever been said on this show.
all he did was petty theft. What?
Did you not hear
What?
Travis's joke?
Yeah. Yeah, I heard it.
It was very inappropriate.
Yeah. Nice
was
job, Ben.
wildly inappropriate.
Circling back to the FCC violation
What?
or the cancelable
What?
offense.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, listen, the reality of the situation is I do think that our prison system is full of some of the best athletes on the planet.
That's what,
Like, it's
so to circle back.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate waste of talent.
And to be quite honest, I mean, if you're looking at a lot of the current active rosters on a lot of these leagues, they're also criminals. Right? So,
What the hell is happening?
happening?
You may have to take another lap.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude,
Sort of.
Satire
Wow.
is protected by the First Amendment.
I didn't say any names.
No, you
text
didn't.
line asking us for where this video is. I'm gonna go retweet it right now from @BigRichTD Fletch. So go follow us on Twitter and you can see the video.
Yeah, it is incredible. It is so good. Hey, really quick. So Alabama has this massive problem on their hands. They made it all the way to the semifinal. They lose to Michigan in OT, and they have 9 players transferring out of their program. So nobody is safe. Nobody is safe from the transfer portal. It doesn't matter if you're Nick Saban and you made it to the playoffs. It doesn't matter if you're Jim Harbaugh and you win potentially a national championship. It doesn't matter if you're Kalen DeBoer and you potentially win a national championship for the Washington Huskies. If you're a head coach in college football and you have good players on your team, those good players are going to be looking for better money elsewhere. If your boosters won't pay them, they'll find a name, image, and likeness deal for them somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what's going on. It isn't because they don't like the coaches, they don't like their teammates. It's because they're all chasing money, and it's the new normal. So I'm just saying, like, anybody who thinks like, okay, wow, like at least we have competitive postseason football games because these guys didn't transfer. As soon as these seasons end, you're going to see massive numbers of players leave for the transfer
Why
portal.
wouldn't they?
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
I mean, this seems like a no-brainer to me. You opened up the door to let this happen. Of course it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to go where people want you the most, where you're going to make the most money, what's going to be best for you and your future.
It's also very NBA in the fact that just because you enter into the transfer portal doesn't mean you actually have to leave. You're just putting your team on notice that, hey, if you want to keep me, you better pony up, bud.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to come out of the transfer portal and continue playing with the same team. There aren't rules that forbid that. And so you're absolutely right. I think it's a leverage point for all these players with the current program they're playing with or to chase money elsewhere.
Rich, do you foresee there being a rule put in place that if you enter the transfer portal, you're locked in?
I think it may. That is a place where I'm not sure where the guardrails are going to be put in, but there will be new rules put in place here pretty soon. Like, it's almost a guarantee. I don't think it's going to happen immediately. I don't even think not even within the next year or two, but pretty soon here, there are going to have to be some rules. Hey, speaking of rules, we all followed a couple of simple rules that really helped us with weight loss.
Yeah.
And SDFatLoss.com. I look at Travis in completely different light now. This guy is wearing the hell out of that collared shirt.
Yeah, your daughter might actually like you now.
Does she like a skinnier dad or a fatter dad?
A skinnier dad, absolutely. Who doesn't like a skinnier dad, right? Look, and I am a skinnier dad because I lost 30 pounds with SD Fat Loss. Rich, you were over 35. Fletch, you were damn near down 50 pounds from the start of our dieting venture here.
Fletch has lost 210 pounds since starting this diet.
That's right.
He is literally just bones and Air Force Ones. That's it.
I am about to be down in the 220s, so
I'll tell you. And
Okay.
for every guy out there listening, every 30 pounds you lose, you gain an inch.
That's what I'm saying.
Catch my drift.
So you're down almost 60 pounds then, Fletch? How about that?
Guys,
That's like we're up to like 3.5.
I'll tell you right now. He's casting a shadow.
That's right. I casting less of a shadow, down 31 pounds in 8 weeks. You can do the same thing. SD Fat Loss, they have the secret for quick weight loss as well as the secret to keeping the weight loss off, because that's the whole goal here. Once you lose it, you want to keep it off. You don't want to bounce right back. They call that yo-yo dieting. You don't want to have that weight come back and then some, because that's what happens with these fad medication diets, these prescription medication diets. You lose the weight, but as soon as you stop the appetite suppressants, because that's all they are, you start eating again, become a fatty boom batty again. You gain it all back, man, and then some. That's how it works. But look, SDFatLoss.com, they're going to show you the healthy way to do it. You're not going to have to exercise. You're not going to count points. You don't have to add anything up. You don't have to eat something weird. You eat the food you like, and you're still going to lose the weight. I promise you, because it worked for us. We all did it. SDFatLoss.com. Woo! Schedule your free consultation today. SDFatLoss.com.
We got a ticket giveaway and bottom of the barrel coming up on the other side. Stay tuned. TD and I were just talking about this. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you here this morning. I am so fired up on testosterone. Do you have any idea? Like, dude, I've thrown away all my hammers. Don't need them. I took all the towel racks out of the house.
Took all the towel racks out?
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Because
don't,
what's holding up the towel now,
No,
Rich?
no, I just think he means he drip dries.
I do that too. Which reminds me, I go into the backyard. I took down the birdhouse.
It's a good thing you're not like in court right now because you might jump after a judge.
Yeah, bro, you would leap over this table
Well,
without a problem.
Oh, dude, buddy,
Yeah.
I have way more spring in my step. I am.
And was it because of your arch supports?
Forget about it. You just forget about it. All I know is after I tackle a judge, I will have no back pain.
Can you imagine?
Zero back pain.
Can you imagine that criminal with the tee shots and arch supports?
Good Lord. I mean, already, like, they're
like
like,
Spider-Man in
You
there.
wouldn't be in court.
there is film of, yeah, exactly. It would have gotten away. There's already film of like people withstanding tasers. You know what I mean? Like, there'll be like the one-off drunk guy outside the
Mhm.
bar. Like,
Oh, please say the words you think you can withstand a taser.
I would
wait.
love, and I mean love, to test this theory.
Wait a minute.
All
Can we
right.
do that?
NBA
Can we do
season
that?
after the NFL season, we're gonna pick all the win totals over under, and Rich is gonna get tased.
Wait, I don't want to be a part of this. I will lose this and I'll get tased.
I kind of feel like I want to offer myself up.
Like,
Like,
that's good.
yeah.
There's
Like,
somebody out there that has a taser that can do
well,
this.
I don't want to. Hang on. T, quick
Wait,
timeout.
wait,
Timeout.
Wait,
Hang
no. I think
Let's
this seems fine.
No, let's have a quick powwow here.
I'll buy a taser.
Okay, hang on.
I'm good for half.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm cooler with that. Like, if we own the taser together and then you guys tase me, then just being like, hey, listeners out there, if any of you own a taser legally or
Turn it up to
illegally,
Grizzly Bear.
Y'all
So-
need to come on down to the station. Tase Rich.
True story. One time we were at my uncle's house. My uncle had this big backyard in Merced where there's a lot of farmland.
Yep.
And he had dogs. And so the dogs, he had an electric fence.
Yeah.
And so the dogs all had the collars that would shock you if you got past the electric fence.
Right on, right on.
My brother's friend Eric, who you guys have met, we've golfed with Eric.
Eric is a completely different person when he's drunk versus when he's sober.
It's true.
This was like 16-year-old
He's-
Eric.
He's
and he
like
was
one of my favorite people drunk, and he's one of the quietest humans I've ever met
Yes.
sober.
completely sober, just all pubertied up.
Yeah. He
Said
was high on that testosterone.
there's no way this thing actually works to keep your dogs in. Like
Go
if they
ahead.
wanted to, they could just run straight through it. And my Uncle Jack said, put it on. Eric put it on. Uncle Jack turned it all the way up to 10. Eric took off running and got elevated by the shock that he got.
Sweet.
Dude, like, see,
We should try that again.
this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, yeah, maybe right after the football season, like Super Bowl week.
Like it looked like he got clotheslined
We should-
and landed on his back
We-
with about 2 feet of air.
We should find a cop who's either retired and owns a taser, or maybe SDPD will want to do like a demonstration with us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm
On
gonna
air.
hold
All
on.
right,
Hold on.
hang on. I'm gonna send a text to Dom,
Okay.
our
So-
sales guy, Dominic Gia Marinara sauce. Hang on.
Would you rather do taser or bite suit?
Oh, both. Okay, hang
I would
on.
do bite suit.
Okay,
Those dogs
I'm
are
gonna send him
amazing.
a text message really quick.
Yeah, but you
I'm gonna
want
use
that dog
voice
coming at you? Okay.
Hey Dom, idea. SDPD does a taser/dog bite demonstration with me. Let's get on this one, buddy. All right,
Sent.
Done.
Beautiful. All right.
Okay.
Poor
And
Heidi
Travis is gonna
Klum.
eat a chip.
Poor Heidi Klum. Now let's just not talk about that. Poor Heidi Klum has a bad time, I think, with airlines and her luggage. She's at St. Bart's again with her husband. Topless, guys. She clearly doesn't have the luggage that has her bathing suit top with it. I mean,
wow.
Every time she goes to a beach.
Oh, she's like all the way top.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's
So you
it's-
think that's a lost luggage situation?
well, how could it not be?
Tell you
Who's
what.
she FaceTiming with?
Oh yeah, she's FaceTiming
Good Lord.
her mom. No? No?
Jeez.
There's also officially a new breed of dog.
How old is Heidi?
I think
I think she's in her
52, 52, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like I read that somewhere. Let's see.
I'll tell you what, those aren't 52.
No.
I mean, that is.
Those might be a teenager.
Yeah. I mean,
50.
yeah.
She's 50.
Okay.
She's 50.
All right.
Did you see the tweet that Ben sent us here? Fletch sent us.
What-
Oh, the
Oh,
Halle
those-
Berry one.
Of Halle Berry.
No. Let's
Halle
see those
Berry.
ones.
Read what the tweet says first of all.
Is Halle Berry too old for this?
Okay.
Hell no, she's not.
And let me just look at the picture
Okay.
really quick.
And
All right.
Travis zoomed a lot.
Okay, she is
This is like an elevator.
Not too old for that, as that turns out. So she's wearing a gold jacket. It kind of looks like a Hall of Fame jacket, by the way.
It does.
And she's wearing a green negligee and not much fabric.
By the way, apologies to all of our listeners' wives who now, if you have like a shared Google account and like the family iPad, all of our male listeners immediately Google Heidi Klum or Halle Berry and what they look like now.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Halle Berry.
to me, I feel like and maybe my relationship is different. Like, Anne kind of knew what she was signing up for. Like she was just like she took me home to her family and friends, and she's like, "Yeah, I am so sorry about this. I don't know what I was thinking, but
So this is Rich. And now this is Rich on testosterone.
yeah,
Way
but
worse.
It's so much worse. It's so honestly, it's way better. It feels like you took me and you just turned it up to like I was at a 7, and now you got me right at a 12. Like I'm coming in hot, dude. It is.
Please, someone tase
I want to be tased now.
it. You said it.
Yeah, it's happening.
New breed of dog is the Lancashire Healer.
Okay.
Okay.
It kind of looks like a Roddy.
It does.
Yeah, a
I
little
mean,
bit.
it's like a little guy, though.
Yeah, like short leg Rottweiler.
Yeah.
All right, 844. Nope, sorry. 877-767-4760. That's the new number to call.
877-767-4760. 877-4-760.
Yeah.
877 SORG 760.
Sorg is spelled with an S. Call that number right now. You're going to win Aztecs tickets to UNLV home court, Viejas Arena, Saturday, 1 p.m. tip. Ben, who do we thank?
We thank Vinny Bonsignor, who was awesome, talking about Jim Harbaugh potentially joining the Raiders as the next head coach. And also, guys, what's tomorrow?
Tomorrow is a bar
Card Friday.
See y'all then.
Suck him. Go.